microphone, and we are live. Yeah. So, let me move the camera over a little bit for our special guest star, Mr. Ken Shatter.
Hey, yes.
Let me bring the chat in so that in case anybody's saying anything.
It's
my cousin Emma says, too old to socialize. T-shirt material.
I'm going to step out a second.
Oh, go for it.
I'll be
okay.
right back.
He's got important mayor stuff to do.
That's how important he is, okay?
We got to do a little bit of an intro. Anyway, sponsored by Thread Tats. ThreadTats.com. Vaj, come show your Thread Tats.
Oh, yeah, here's my Thread Tat. We're selling these shirts. This is an authentic Dickies shirt. It's got my logo. They put this on there. And this is the start of this painting.
He does the runway every weekend. That's why you can tell.
I'm a
you can tell
designer in this kind of thing. Anyway, so I'm gonna get paint. Well, not intentionally on here, but whatever happens, it's gonna happen. I've got one underneath, so when I do the Superman peel away, this gets too full, or I get too hot going here, and these will be for sale through Thread Tats and a T-shirt of my drawing I did. Did you show that, Cameron? Has anybody seen that?
T-shirt of the drawing? What of the drawing? The drawing.
Well, here's the drawing on the canvas, okay? Let me grab this off the table.
If you were tuning in 2 nights ago, we did this live. He did this live. I didn't have anything to do with it. But I was keeping him entertained and being the sass. I'm the sass of the show. He's tearing up his sketch so that he can present it to you. Bringing it over. There we go.
So, okay, well, we're locked in here together.
Hi, Kay. Good to see you, Kay.
We're locked in here together anyway because I'm old and I can't go to town. And Cameron's young and he's a filmmaker. And he's recently moved back from Austin. So now he's living here with me, so we're going to make the most of it. I would be doing this anyway. Not with the camera, though. I'd just be looking at the painting like this and seeing, okay, how does that look? Then the other night during our rehearsal, we tried to get this thing real technical. We filmed this part of it. This is my sketch. So what I'm planning on doing with this Corona canvas is this is a portrait of downtown Dallas. Now in reality, as to where we are, we're in Burleson, Texas.
Burleson, Texas.
And we are sort of west of Dallas. They're to the east, which just happens to be, if I was standing here, I would look this way about 45, 50 miles, and I would see this view of Dallas, okay? So that just is kind of fun when you can get away with that. Anyway, so this drawing is going to be a picture of Dallas, and it's going to be real beautiful. And I'm going to paint that first, start to finish, let it dry for a minute, while I paint one of our sponsor logos over here on the sponsor wall. Thread Tats. You got Thread Tats there?
Thread Tats. Sponsored by Thread Tats. That's why we're doing
so
this.
The sponsor logo will go there, and it'll be on the whole time while I'm painting.
Ken's jogging back.
All right, Ken's back. Thank you,
Right.
Ken.
Sorry, guys.
No, you're fine. We've got Ken in the quarantine special guest zone.
Yes.
Can't tell there.
Trying to give him space. I've got tape here. So I'll remember to stay, a few feet away from him. But he's pretty safe anyway.
We hand sanitize just before
Yes.
each of us. Not at the same time, not on everybody else's hands, but separately.
Yes.
Washed our hands because, as Ken will tell you, that's the most important thing we could do right now.
Ken's the mayor of Burleson. That's where we're at. We're so honored to have Ken. We've known Ken for, 20 years? How long?
Long time.
How long have you been mayor, Ken?
17 years, I think.
Not long enough, that's what I say.
Yeah. But he's made remarkable changes, and our
No.
city is now booming.
Tell him how you and I met, Cameron.
So Ken, as he's the mayor, he knows an awful lot about the government and how that works and everything. So I was going to Hill College over in Old Town Burleson, because they have a little campus inside of. Is it still an active church, or is it was?
No, I think they let there's a church that uses the sanctuary on the weekends.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Anyhow, he used to be the mayor. I forget, was it U.S. government or what?
So
what was the class?
I taught 2 classes. I taught national government and then state and local government too.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
in national.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was one of the government classes, and he was a great teacher,
And since he's the mayor, that makes sense.
and that
Yeah.
makes sense.
You know, it totally, it's a
little tiny
natural
town
fit.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the most beautiful things about being in a small town is you can happen upon a class, and then the mayor is teaching.
Getting taught by
Yeah,
government.
yeah, and that was cool.
Taught government by your mayor.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
No, he was a great
was
teacher.
fun.
Yeah, that
I didn't
is
make
cool.
any movies for it, unfortunately. But I should have.
Cameron's educational history is that in high school he didn't do well on testing and following grades, so he
Or
would make
homework.
a
Or
movie for the teacher, and then he would get off without having to, you know, he'd get a little special treatment.
I think he did fine in my class. Didn't have to have any special.
well, you made it so easy.
Yeah, he
appreciate
loves
that.
his government stuff
Yeah, he did
anyway.
good.
Yeah, I mean I've been following it forever.
Yeah.
And then since then, I mean obviously I've been following your career
Yeah.
as a Burlesonite since ages.
All right.
I live here now again, so I'm glad to be back.
Yeah. We've done some fun video projects.
Yeah, we did some good stuff. I got to film like debates and town
Yeah.
halls and all that kind of jazz. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know who all is there. Our stream got interrupted, so the link that I had shared, I should probably go share that. Hold on, y'all chibber chapper. I'm going to share the link.
Okay, I'll
to the
talk to
Burleson
Ken.
people.
Well, now Ken, tell me
Yeah.
about your day job. You're the mayor of Burleson, but I know it's not a high-paying
Yeah.
gig.
No,
you
well,
do it
so-
for the love of the city.
Yeah, for being mayor, we get actually everybody on the city council gets $120 a year
Nice.
at max. We get paid $5 a
Excellent.
meeting. So yeah, so we're worried. We're worried that we may have to cancel council meetings now
Right.
and lose our $5.
Well, oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
could
no.
be it
Yeah.
could be a downfall.
Yeah,
you
no.
better
You could
run
buy
to the
half a
bank,
lunch at
Ken.
Chicken
Yeah.
Express for that.
So my day job is I am president of an organization called One Safe Place, which is a crime and violence prevention agency. And among other things, we operate what's called a Family Justice Center, where we serve victims of domestic violence and children who witness violence in the home.
No, that's over in Fort Worth, right?
Yeah, it's in Fort Worth at the corner of Hemp Hill and Rosedale Streets, right in the hospital district.
And it's fantastic. And you work with police services and
We've got all of the family violence unit for the city of Fort Worth is in our building, along with a couple of other units. But yeah, we work with the shelter, with the police department, with lawyers who do civil legal services, with the district attorney. Lots of therapists working on site with us. So
that's awesome.
yeah.
They do incredible work. Work. We've actually picked up the phone and had a couple of people in crisis and called Ken and got a few things straightened out. You just can't believe how great it is to have people around that dedicate their whole lives to this. This is Ken Shetter, and he's also our mayor, which is so cool because this is you really. I know Kelly Clarkson is from this little town, but this is the guy here who made it what it is. It's a beautiful little country town, but he's bringing in a lot of new projects, a lot of business projects, because this mayor is independent. He doesn't really take sides, but he encourages business. Whatever people want to do, good stuff. That's how I see you anyway.
I appreciate that.
Well,
You give me too much credit. We got lots of amazing people that work for the city, and everybody on the city council has been on the same page for a long time. Before me, Byron Black was a great mayor who brought us a
That's
long way.
true,
And then
absolutely.
we have amazing citizens that are doing cool things,
Oh,
like we have your art projects all over the city.
Yes.
People love one of the things people love about Burleson is we have cool murals, especially in Old Town. And
Well, when you live in a place, we've lived here about 28 years. So when you've lived in a place for 28 years and you've tried to survive as an artist, you work for almost every business that comes to town.
yeah.
They just call you and say, hey, can you do a mural for me about my business? So it's
Right.
been kind of cool. So as you go through town, there's about 28 years of murals in the grocery store, up at City Market.
Yeah.
It's so fun to drive around and see them all over town. Because
Right.
to me, they're slices of time and work and
Right.
everything. I don't know what they are to you because I never talked to anybody.
Same
about it.
thing. Same
Is it-
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's and you have such a really cool nostalgic vintage style that for me, one of the things that it just sort of reminds me, gives me a sense of Burleson when I was a kid. Kinda,
Oh yeah.
which
yeah.
is, and your work, some of it is of an age sort of before that.
Yeah,
but,
right.
when I was a kid, Burleson still, had some of
Right.
those elements too.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, absolutely. That's why actually we moved here, because Cameron was a little kid. We had just been working in Deep Ellum over in Dallas. I don't know if you remember that, when that all got started.
Yeah.
And we did a bunch of murals over there. And my wife, Randy, said, let's move near my dad. And
Nice.
he lived in Burleson.
Very cool.
So we thought, man, this is kind of cool. We have all these cool old buildings in Old Town.
Yeah.
They were vacant and cheap, I'm telling
Yeah.
you, because they hadn't thought about how, when we were in Deep Ellum, we just started painting and musicians started playing in these old buildings and having parties. And then it became a scene.
yeah.
And so we were able to do murals on all the buildings, and then the city got behind it. And that's actually what's happened now in Burleson.
Right. Right.
So we knew that could happen. I just wanted to see if it could happen out in the country,
Yeah.
so that he could have a normal childhood.
Yeah.
And at the time I was working nationally, so I could stay here and just travel. You
Right.
know? So that's how we moved to Burleson. And at first they had no idea what a mural even was, because
Right.
in Texas, I don't know why, but there's only a few select towns that have murals.
Right.
Do you remember
Right.
that?
Yeah, yeah.
Growing up.
Yeah. And now it's a much bigger thing, really.
Well,
everywhere
what's
you go.
funny is Burleson kind of set the standard. Now he's getting calls from Joshua and Cleburne, especially Cleburne, and all sorts of people. They're like, well, we want to do what they did in Old Town Burleson, where we have
We get a
murals
few
and
calls
art
like that
everywhere, and
because,
it's really cool.
I don't know why every city doesn't do that with
Yeah.
their old buildings. There's got to be one or two artists that if
Yeah.
you let them work for 28 years, they're going
Yeah,
to figure
yeah.
out how to paint.
Yeah.
If they start out with some natural skills, that's the main thing.
Well, now something I've learned is not from my own experience, but we at work at Once I Place, we have an art program
Oh yeah,
for kids.
Yeah.
So we explore all kinds of different avenues to
That's
get
right,
those expressions
that's
out.
right.
But one of the things we've learned over the years is a muralist. Being a muralist is sort of a special skill. It's not like you just it's painters that paint and they just do it on a bigger scale. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
special.
There's extra
well,
things.
it's a lot of practice and it's physical. People don't realize that
Yeah.
how much work it goes into doing a giant wall on a building. Think about,
Right.
I can probably paint 1,000 brushstrokes a day.
Y'all don't be surprised if by the end of this stream he's like this.
Yeah, my back will go out at some point. But what I wanted to try to do is maybe everybody's panicking, so I want to give people an escape. We just have fun over at my studio every day, no matter what's going out in the world. I'm kind of go check the TV every once in a while, but mostly I'm over here listening to music. And every once in a while, the mayor will stop by because we do work together once in a while.
So we had one of the coolest projects together, and and you do so many projects you probably barely remember it. But when we were at One Safe Place, when we were building the Family Justice Center, which was about almost 10 years ago now, but we started off. We bought this big building that had to be completely renovated, and we couldn't occupy the building, so we put these 8 temporary trailers, in the parking lot of the building where we started serving victims out of domestic violence.
That's
Because of the nature of the work we were doing, we had to work really hard to secure those 8 buildings and to make them safe for the people that we were serving.
And private.
And also separate us from this giant construction site we
Right.
had going on.
Oh yeah,
Where we were, completely renovating a 65,000 square foot building. So anyway, we hired Brad to paint a giant mural. So we put up an 8-foot plywood fence that really covered an entire city block.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
8
it was
foot
a
tall.
big-
and
yeah,
then-
8 foot tall.
Who
8
even
foot
knows
tall.
how
It
long?
was like 600 feet long.
I mean, it was
it was
was
maybe 1,000 feet.
it was
long.
amazing.
It wasn't 1,000.
And he gave
And,
me 3 days to paint it.
Nah,
So that
that's
was the
not
challenge.
true. 3 days.
No,
to
I'm
paint it.
just kidding.
No,
he
so I-
actually put painting clothes on. He
I
came out and
did.
painted
Well,
with
so
me.
we have a theory at One Safe Place that we think we want to have a lot of sweat equity in things, and we want everybody in the
Yeah.
organization at every level to be directly connected to the work we do. So
That's
during that
awesome.
time, we spent time doing some of the actual work around getting our facilities ready and things. And so yeah, but I'll tell you a funny story. One day it was the middle of the summer. It was
it's
hotter than
hot.
hell.
Oh yes.
And I was out there with a paintbrush on that fence.
Yes, you were.
And a guy came up to me and said, "I'm looking for the guy in charge of this place." And I said, "Well, that's me." Oddly enough.
He's out there in paint clothes.
Yeah.
That
And
was
anyway,
awesome.
it was a guy that wanted talked to us about doing. This could get too long, but anyway,
Oh, you're
No,
that
go ahead,
conversation led
We're
to
here
us,
till midnight or
Yeah,
something.
led to us
so-
applying for new market tax credits, which is a special program when you do big developments in certain places. And anyway, that netted us about $3 million for
Whoa!
the project. Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
nice.
Isn't that funny?
And-
Wow.
Yes, excellent.
And,
But
first,
question-
first impressions.
My
you know?
question, first impressions. My question is, why do you walk up to you instead of me?
I
Was my hat wrong?
I
had the wrong-
actually think he had gone into the building and
Oh, okay.
asked
Oh,
for me, and they said he's out there painting on the
The
field.
young one
When
with
I-
the
by
paint
the
on.
time
And
I
he
get
just
covered
guessed,
with that
yeah.
much paint, I do look like a guy,
Well-
a homeless guy that might have gotten hired. In fact, we
Yeah.
did hire some couple of homeless guys.
Yeah,
to
we
come
did
and
on
help
that
me
project.
that
Yeah,
project.
but people still.
I didn't realize how
Yeah.
many homeless people are actual artists. I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah.
All day long, artists. Because they don't function in the society. They don't have a beautiful wife like I had, and
Yeah.
it's so they end up on the street. It's really
Yeah.
a sad kind of thing. So I give them Gatorade. They paint for half an hour as long as they've got.
So if you're not already bummed out about the coronavirus, listen to us tell you the woes of the homeless culture.
No, I'm
The
sorry
homeless
about that. But I'm just saying there's a lot of artists out
Yeah.
there. So I always say, getting back to the main point of this, is that every town has artists, but
Yeah.
they don't know where to work. They're horribly ADD often, but they have a passion. And if somebody would give them some money once in a while to paint a project on the wall, if you have a restaurant or if you have like a soda fountain, that's how I started
A
working.
soda fountain.
That's what they used to call them.
Yeah,
My mom
yeah.
would say, go down to the soda fountain, see if they need a painting on the wall. It's a restaurant.
Yeah.
So I'd go down there. They'd hire me. I'd work for a week on it. I'd get free food for 2 weeks and $100, and that was a lot of money. So
Yeah.
Even
that's how that all began.
even
So
when
I've
we
been
had a
doing
malt
this ever
shop, we
since
didn't
then.
have soda fountain, but we should.
No, there
we should
was.
look into
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
We should look into
That's
it.
what she used to call them. She's from a different era, and she's here watching. So,
Cool.
but anyway, and I hope she stayed home and didn't run to the bank.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let's not run on the bank, folks.
Well, at least if you go to the bank, all he can do is a drive-through today.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Oh, nice.
okay.
Yeah, but you gotta still touch the buttons.
Yeah, that's true.
She's 80. She doesn't need to be going to
Yeah,
the bank.
stay home.
I mean,
It's
there's
true.
young people everywhere. They can go. They can be happy to. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Believe me, I've been forcing him to stay home. Like we
Oh yeah.
he sat in the car while I drove somewhere to go get groceries or something. But
Yeah.
that was all. That was literally just so he could see like how the crowds were.
Anyway, it is kind of cool, and so I'm gonna paint a painting of that.
Cool.
And as this week, I'm gonna try to paint this canvas. It's 8x8. It should be easy. I'll probably go till midnight.
Yeah.
I'll take a break in the middle at some point, and then I'm going to keep adding canvas. And if I do this again next week, I'll add a piece to it until it's about this long,
Very cool.
40 feet wide, and then we'll put it on display somewhere.
Nice.
We'll fly it from the back of a plane or something.
Yeah.
So tell me, what is the?
Yeah, walk through it.
Oh,
yeah, walk
okay.
through what we're doing.
All right. This is Dallas. Because right over here is Dallas.
Yeah.
If you look, stand here and look. Dallas is due west that way.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was going to make it about New York. The other day, the first concept, which was in my sketch, was about, okay, it would evolve into New York. But then once we decided to go all the way through and come all the way to the end, I thought, well, I'll save New York until I can adequately depict New York.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm going to depict where we're at, which is about right here, isn't it?
All right.
Now, I'm going to draw my horses and stuff in here. They have no idea of the chaos that's going on around them. But mostly today, I'm going to paint a beautiful sunset. And if anybody likes to paint, break out your stuff, get a sketch pad. I'm trying to encourage people to not focus on the drama, the trouble that might be coming down the line, and let's just hang out and paint. This is what I would be doing all day. So I'm going to do it as long as you can, so join me. Ken, you're an artist. I've seen you in paint clothes. When you go home, I want you to get
yeah.
some paint
He's a
on.
fiddle player.
Yeah. All I can
Oh,
do.
yeah, fiddle player.
All I do in terms of art is just if Brad tells me where to put paint,
Oh, well, shoot.
paint this
thought
color
you did a
here,
great
I can
job.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I really did. That was awesome you to even come out there. Most of my clients don't come out there.
It was fun.
Other than
Fun.
to throw some ideas and stuff.
But
So-
if you guys have any questions for Mr. Mayor, the mayor of a small town, we're not going to get like political, but it is interesting how people respond in times of crisis, especially in a rural So I don't know. Is Burleson rural
No,
or is
not
it more
really.
suburban?
It's definitely suburban, and
Interesting.
really you'd say kind of suburban urban.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow, it used to be rural. Turn the
Yeah.
camera and show them what the.
Well, you're so rural here.
Yeah. After the show, I want to talk to you about that because there's a lot of housing going around. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm going to start painting. I'm just going to start with the sky. And if you want to use my techniques, I've been doing this for my whole life.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can do it really fast without even thinking about it. If I start talking, I've got a microphone over here. I'm mostly talking to myself.
Okay.
But if you want to comment on that, that's cool too. Or ask me questions. Ask Ken something. But I'm going to get to work because this is why I'm here. I'm supposed to be working.
Crystal Livingston says, I still have miniature fruits and veggies from a shadow box that she bought from Randy at her antique shop in Old Town Burleson.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
I guess you were probably around whenever my mom had the antique store.
Yeah,
It was only for a few years.
My
But
wife had a really cool antique store down in Burleson.
Yeah.
So you guys talk. I'm going to start painting.
All right.
what else we got? Tom Clark, whoever that is, says,
my high school friend.
great seeing you, Brad. Thanks for having us.
Oh man, I'm glad. I've never had this many people in my studio.
Nina
And by that I mean
is
the
watching.
three of us. This
Yeah.
is about the limit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, right now it's especially the limit.
You know. Well, I'm going to get to work, so you guys talk, okay?
Okay.
Don't ask me any questions because it's hard to focus on the painting. And I mean, don't ask me too many.
Yeah.
Cameron knows how to handle
Oh,
this.
yeah.
But one thing I am doing, I'm just taking some straight white paint here.
Did you get the paint can that bought you?
Yeah, oh yeah, I got
Okay.
it. But this is some white paint, pure white, ultra flat acrylic latex. And I'm going to go in and add the clouds and add the sky because as we all know during the day, the light reflects off the earth and the buildings and everything. So
Oh, DG's rolling around. Hey, DG. Let's see if I can't get that on. Hold on. Sorry, Bradley.
horse brake.
Horse break. There's a horse right in the middle. Roll out. She got up. All right. Back to art.
Okay, that's
Occasionally
how
that'll happen.
we do get distracted by horses rolling. It just looks so
It's
good
so-
to people.
yeah, it's so
I
cool.
mean,
Your sister says Aunt Nina's watching.
oh, nice. Hello, Nina. She's in a adult living facility, and what do you call it technically? Senior citizen
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
And my father's aunt, they're up in Michigan watching.
Awesome.
Nice. Great to see you.
Elliot Goodwin.
She's an artist too. We met her after all these years and realized they had gotten separated, and she's been an artist her whole life, a
Wow.
fantastic painter, and we never even knew her until now.
That's amazing.
Isn't that cool? Just because of the internet, they found us.
Yeah, and it's in your
And
DNA.
turns out
Yeah,
they're
and
both
it's
artists.
in the DNA
Yeah.
for sure. So Cameron turned into a filmmaker, so he's out here. It is in the DNA.
Yeah.
It really is.
Elliot Goodwin says, good to see you, Brad. I think
Oh,
I've been there
Elliot.
for 28 years.
Elliot, I used to paint. He's one that owned Larry's Shoes.
Larry's Shoes. We were just talking about Larry's Shoes.
Oh man, I've got all the sketches from Larry's Shoes.
I love Larry's Shoes.
I'm gonna break that out one of these weeks.
Or as this segment, which if you guys come up with a segment idea, feel free to toss us the idea. But last time we were streaming, just to give us a break from the creation stuff, he brought out his old canvases or paintings, pictures, photographs even of his old work, and one of them was
Larry's Shoes.
Larry's
man.
Shoes
We
and-
used to do you used to shop there
Yeah,
probably, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
And they put coffee bars. This is when
sponsored by Larry's Shoes. They're not
Yes.
in business
Oh, yes.
anymore, but
Anytime, any minute, I work with those guys again. They were fantastic. They were in business for 50 years, and Elliot took over for his father. But they have some kind of business going on. But you know, the market changed when everybody could buy shoes online.
Yeah.
Because these were elegant shoe stores. They were so cool. You got free coffee,
Yeah.
elegant shoes, or cheap shoes, and the concept was just made people feel good.
Yeah.
That's what retail used to be about.
Yeah.
You know, now you just order it online, and it's a whole different world.
Elliot says he would love to see those.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put them on our show one of these weeks.
K Ray says looking forward to learning a thing or two today.
Oh yeah, my artist aunt, who's recently taken up painting and taken it seriously, owns a health food store over in Mansfield, and
She shared the Eterna health food
Eterna.
store. She shared this stream.
Ideal sponsor. Come on now.
Eterna.
Anyway.
Not sponsored by Eterna. Sponsored by Thread
Oh,
Tats.
yeah, we are sponsored by Thread Tats and Doggy Digs because people are offering to sponsor us staying at home and doing art every day.
Gay Patrick says Mike's dad was a salesman at Larry Shoes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I've talked to Mike about that. That's right.
These are all old buddies and family. And
Well, so the
it's
interesting
kinda fun.
thing is, yeah, I'm of a different generation than Cameron, and probably of you, Ken. I don't
Yeah.
know how old you are exactly.
48.
48, okay. Well, I'm older than you, so you're still safe health-wise.
Yeah, you're still in the safe zone.
Still in the
Although
safe
nobody's in the safe zone, but as
Nah.
far as statistics go, you know.
And so Cameron's got a whole young generation thing going. He's 30. Do you mind me saying that, Cameron?
Yes, I do mind. But
Oh,
you already
anyway.
did it, and it's live, so we can't edit it.
What? I mean, I'd be proud to say I was 30. I'm 50. What? How old? 58. Anyways, or I'm going to be 58 this year. So I'm still painting this.
Cheryl, it's all that it's just because I know how to tie a tie. That's all.
And he is Mr. Handsome now. He was living in Austin, and you know, they had a certain hippie style, so he had to go make it different
That's
by
good.
wearing a
Yeah.
tie to all his meetings, make himself stand out. But so he moved back recently due to making sure I don't wander into town. And
Yeah, that's true.
and so he's cooking for me.
He's
I'm
lucky
really
I haven't broken
feeling
out duct
guilty.
tape yet.
But so basically, what I'm doing here is painting just some white where the highlights are going to be.
Now, sometimes, especially when you're doing sky stuff, you like to add some like metallic-y, kind of reflective-looking paint in there.
Yeah, this is just more of a primer coat because, like, the other night we got kind of carried away and Cameron asked me something. I said, "Oh yeah, what about manufacturing?" And the next thing I know, I've got this in there, and it's
Yeah.
a smokestack. And I love putting smokestacks in because it's a tribute to the old WPA artists,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
and all their work in the post offices
Yeah.
and stuff had the smokestacks because industry was abusing the people, according to the
Yeah.
people in the Depression. But anyway, so a little tribute to it's good, and industry's going to play an important part in the Corona thing.
Yeah, no question.
So I might just save that.
I have a
So
question
we
for you.
can
Who's your favorite, like, historic muralist?
Thomas Hart Benton, of course.
Easy peasy answer.
That's
Come
mine
on,
too.
hello,
All right.
Bubba.
Well, I thought maybe when you said the smokestack thing, I thought maybe.
But all of them used it. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot, Diego Rivera. Most of the murals at the time, especially the government was painting. As an artist, you're supposed to paint the time you live in. So
Right.
those murals are so beautiful, and that's kind of my concept. Is in a big picture. If you look at what you're supposed to do with art, is if you can paint in a town where there's no art museum, and you give people art. And because, like, I have people still tell me, man, I grew up with these murals and I started getting an interest in art. Can I come and work for you?
This
And
is
I
when
get
they're
a
trying
lot
to
of
make
this.
it feel old.
Anyway, it's kind of cool like that because you can feel the repercussions of putting art in a thing. And now look at the city; it's
Right.
fully
The
grown.
place
There's art everywhere.
Yeah, like you said,
You know?
didn't historically have a lot of art. or
Yeah,
art.
no.
Hey,
It's
even
not
I
culture.
mean, even whenever City Market, the old Branson store, they were like, "Hey, we're gonna put a mural here." Like,
Yeah.
it's cool to see just other people starting to come in, so that you foster this kind of
Yeah, absolutely.
culture.
Yeah, I hope that's what I hope is that long after I'm gone, they keep it going.
There's room for everybody. Is all. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Just so if anybody's inspired, hire an artist out there to paint a mural. Or
Especially nowadays, everyone's stuck at home,
Yeah.
kind of realizing how important art is because we're all creating stuff for you guys.
But this would be a good time to have a bunch of artists on the street.
Tom Clark, that dog's name is Mr. Turtle.
That's
So.
Turtle.
Tom Clark was asking what his name was.
All right, Turtle's been with us a long time out here on Cameron's Travels. Cameron is a filmmaker, makes film and video for all kinds of bands and Christian rock. all kinds of stuff.
Anybody that is really a good person, that's all I really care about.
Yeah, he does. Or if he likes your music and stuff, he's an
Especially if I
incredible.
like the music, but even if I don't, if you're a good person, that's all I care about.
He can make your band look pretty official, regardless of your skill level. No, he likes working with talented
Speaking of
people.
music, Andrew is here. He wrote a song.
Oh yeah,
He didn't
Andrew.
write a song last night, but he recorded a song last night for us, and we'll premiere it a little bit later.
But I have an idea about Andrew. Andrew is an old friend that we're going to play his song later on when I'm doing the logo. Or when I'm taking a break or something. But he wrote this song about the pandemic thing. And so we thought about maybe that would encourage other people to write a song. And if they want to send it to us, maybe we can play it. And, you know.
So that'll be, like, it's really cool. And when you think about times of disaster or difficulty, that is one of the positive things that come out is there are great works of art typically.
Well,
Yeah.
look at the WPA back right
During
out
the
of the
Depression.
Depression.
Yeah.
Some of the best art America has ever created, and it was everywhere.
Well, you know, we got kind of spoiled here recently. There's so much luxury. Everybody's living large. And without a little suffering, we've recently suffered by the situation.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes you got to, pull down to just the basics like everybody's doing. Get tight. Get back to work. Do what you do. I paint murals, so I got to keep painting.
Andrew says he thinks he started his own watching party with a few people viewing.
Oh,
from
cool.
His own Facebook page, so that's cool. But no, that's totally true. You know, everyone. This happens in all times of disaster.
Yeah.
But like one thing that is always, every single time something bad happens is just we come together, man. Like America. We've been at each other's throats.
Yeah.
It
So
felt
it's a
almost
nice
like
rest.
it was at a breaking point. Like something was going to happen. I'm not saying that those two things are related, but at least this is letting us like, okay,
But you don't have a choice.
Let's
You
drop
gotta-
it.
You don't have a choice. You're gonna have to band together.
Yeah, absolutely. We all talk about patriotism and stuff, and I think real patriotism is understanding and just thinking, okay, well, the government is in a position, they hire people every day to handle this. They can handle it. I'm just confident that America's that tough. I've seen the Super Bowl. I've seen the planes fly over in unison while somebody dances on stage. They know how to do everything, not comparing a disaster to that. But I'm saying that let's just have
Sometimes
faith
the
in
Super
what
Bowls are a
systems
disaster
we've set
depending
up.
on what
Where
team
it
you're
fails,
rooting for.
people will
Yeah, we do big
fix
things.
it. Yeah, I mean, if we make a few mistakes, we'll handle it. But we're going to paint and make art, and we've invited a few musicians to come
Candace
out.
is here. Hi, Candace.
Hey, Candace, Doggy Diggs, one of our sponsors. You know Doggy Diggs,
Yeah.
don't you? Yeah, down near South Side. And so I'm going to paint her logo later. So I'm doing marathon here. I would do this anyway. I would stay probably. I would have started earlier. I probably would have started about noon and painted until midnight. So I'm going to start at 3 today and paint till midnight and see what happens.
Question for Ken from your sister, my Aunt Dana. Question for Ken: how is Burleson holding up against the virus?
I think pretty good. We just yesterday had our first confirmed case, but we do think we think it's probably likely that there, for a few days have been some folks that have infections around town. Our businesses are really struggling, of course, with so many having to close their doors, and so people are hurting just like they are everywhere. But they are definitely holding together, and I'm really proud that people are following the restrictions that our local government is putting in place, that the state government's put in place, and they're really banding together. Like everywhere, there are people that have been very frustrated, but really people have made it easier. It didn't have to be. It could have been a lot more difficult to get these things done, but people are heeding the advice as they should. I don't think they're minimizing or dismissing the risk, and so I'm confident we're going to get through it. And I think people are doing everything they can to really help our local businesses. I know the to-go business has really been going really strong.
I was just at I was at our place, and for the first time ever, our place is open for open for dinner. They take to go and call-ins and pick it up, but they're open till 6 p.m. But I was there picking up stuff, and they were on the phone just constantly.
Yeah.
Like to the point where they broke the phones.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but. But they were so busy.
Practically,
So
yeah.
people are like
They're adapting.
they're adapting, they're readjusting, and business folk they are gonna do whatever
They're creative, creative as I ever have been. Business people have to stay alive, and they got people counting on them.
But our first responders are in great shape. So our fire department was really smart back when when the virus hit China, they kind of recognized something unusual was happening, and
okay.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Wow.
they ordered some extra supplies at that
Really?
time. So we're
okay.
oh,
a little
we're
proactive.
we're
Wow.
not struggling like some others are with that. I'm sure we'll, depending on how long it goes, we could get there. But
I
Do
mean,
you want
we're-
to give props to the fire chief?
yeah, our fire chief is KT Freeman, and he was, he made some smart decisions
That
back
is
weeks ago.
brilliant,
And
man. That's what we need to do.
It's strange because the things are changing so quickly. We are already at like the news cycle. Like every single day there was something new to worry about.
Yeah.
But this thing is moving so quickly that a few weeks ago being prepared is like monumental.
yeah, I mean it's it's literally an hour by hour deal, and
Right.
the facts are changing all day, every day. So it's been.
And I mean, it sounds scary when you're like, oh yeah, the first one was in Burleson or whatever. But Burleson is like we have all the restaurants.
Yeah.
We have people coming and going and stuff. But I mean, with the projected targets, it's gonna get pretty commonplace that it hits.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds weird. I'm not glad the virus was in Burleson, but I'm glad we actually had a confirmed case in a way.
Sure.
Because I think it caused some people that maybe thought, to some degree in the back of your mind, maybe it's a smaller town, so maybe
We're
we're
invincible
immune.
or
And
something.
we
Yeah,
knew,
yeah.
we knew practically speaking, we're not immune. We knew practically speaking that there were people that were infected in the community.
Sure.
So in some ways, it was helpful just to have that confirmed case because it really,
Oh, really?
I think helps communicate to folks exactly how serious the situation is and where we are.
And it
So.
can get even for us. I guess he's representing the 50s. You're representing the 40s. I'm representing other people. And
I thought you meant 19. I was like, wait a minute.
no,
Well, yeah,
no.
yeah,
I mean that's
yeah.
my fashion sense. But
Yeah,
but they so like it can be dangerous for all. I mean, it's especially dangerous for people in the older group. But I was reading a story. I'm not going to get into detail or anything, but someone that had no underlying. It's a good friend of one of my friends. Had no underlying issues or anything. She was 32, and she's still going through, but it is miserable.
Well, I think the other thing is it's a novel virus.
Right.
It's a new, so we don't fully know what all the implications
Right.
are. But I think particularly for young adults should not feel like they're immune from the effects. That's for sure. And
But also step up because
Yeah.
we do have the best defenses. So if you have a grandma or something that can't leave the house, make sure she stays in the house and go pick up.
we all still have to do our part.
Yeah, Mom. Let them come to you. Come on.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
his mother is 80 this year.
Yeah, and she has a condition, so you got to be careful. I've got asthma, so Cameron said that's enough.
I mean,
Exactly right.
So
you're ADD enough that you'd be touching all the surfaces because
Yeah.
something's shiny. And,
yeah.
oh, there's a
That
new button
is
on here.
actually
Listen to
true.
this when it talks to me. If I press this button,
Oh well, he's got me over there. We live next door, and he's got me all hooked up where you talk to this microphone and it tells you the weather and everything. It's
Talk to the
crazy.
microphone and tells you the weather. He's talking about a Google Home. He talks to Hey Google, blah
Yeah.
blah.
So all of a sudden, I'm responding to the TV because I sometimes shout at the TV. I don't know why, and Google responds to me. I'm like, that's creepy, man. I don't even know what kind of world.
Finally,
I'm living
Brad,
in.
you're not talking to yourself.
Yeah, I know. Well, I spend a lot of time alone over here, so
It's true.
that's
It's
what
true.
happens.
Okay, so question for Ken. This has nothing to do with Corona.
Good.
Excellent. Thank
Good,
you.
good. This is from Chrissy.
Chrissy.
Can you help influence Cleveland to grow like Burleson has?
Yeah, you know what? I think we all influence one another, and I think there's some really cool things happening in Cleveland. I'm
That's totally true.
Yeah, it
jealous of the old courthouse square. You can't.
That courthouse
I mean,
is something
Yeah,
special.
in Burleson we're creating a plaza, so we're sort of creating something that historically we weren't blessed with,
Right.
which is kind of that town, square.
We were
Yeah,
a railroad
yeah,
stop.
right.
We
That's
weren't,
right, you're-
like a courthouse.
Yeah, no, that's right. Like the turn of the century Main Street towns. You either developed kind of in a linear fashion, along the railroad or in a square around the courthouse.
Or you were a watering hole back in the
Yeah.
Yeah,
way
right.
back in the
But
days.
so I see some really cool things happening in Cleburne, and particularly around the square. It takes a while when to kind of figure out how to reorient. So a lot of the court stuff moved over to the Glenn building, but I think like things are starting to happen around there and kind of reorient to see some new.
When
stuff.
did Burleson build what I call New Old Town? That extra little section right next to the highway.
Oh, so,
How long has that been there? Because it seems like it's been a minute now.
yeah, it's been a while now. No, it's, I don't know, 10 or so years maybe.
It's a
cute.
cool
Yeah.
looking
That
development.
used to be where I used to get my hair cut.
Yeah, so the idea is, so we had, and you know what, here's what's cool. So we brought in a guy named Dan Quinto, who is a really creative planner. He was involved in the hometown development in North Richland Hills. So the idea is they build these sort of retro style development.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And
Yeah.
some of that, the retro vintage, has to do with the architecture, but some
Yeah.
of it has to do with going back to sort of the turn of the century theory about development and focusing on walkability.
Well, Ken, I think we all
that
know
kind
that
of
it's mostly based on my dad's art.
That's right.
His stuff is all retro.
No,
so
but
that
there
set
is
the,
there is a connection there because I'm doing that too. In my art, I try to make it as Americana as possible.
Yeah.
Because I want people to. I'm trying to identify what that is by being a regional artist, but without all this European influence, because I haven't even been to Europe
Yeah.
yet. I've been all over America to almost every state,
Yeah.
but I've never been out of this country. So this is what I know. I'm grabbing elements. And I get excited about it because wherever you go, there's something cool to paint. You can go
Right.
to anywhere. You can, go out in the pasture and paint, and there's
Yeah.
something cool to paint. But
Yeah.
so many cities have their own story. Cleburne has a unique story that could be
Oh, Cleveland's got
told.
some amazing
It needs
stories.
to be told.
Yeah.
In some of the buildings, they have a lot of more old buildings than we do.
And especially, and a lot of older houses that we don't have too. So.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, so cities, we really screwed up development and planning starting in the 1950s. When we built the interstate highway system, which is great for so many reasons, but we decided everybody wants to go everywhere in their car, no matter
Right.
how far or how short the trip is.
Route 66.
Yeah, so we changed the theory of development to be oriented to the car and not to the person, and we developed all these planning requirements about having all these massive parking lots and things, and that theory of development really predominated in urban and suburban areas for 50 years or so.
Interesting.
Yeah,
And then, starting in the 2000s, I mean, it started before that, but it really started to get down to cities like Burleson.
Right.
Starting in 2000s, we started thinking, well, that's really not the best way to build a community, and more people were wanting to live in walkable, bikeable places, and so you started thinking about how buildings and streets oriented to the pedestrian, to the
Right.
person, instead of to the automobile.
Now, Ken, let me ask you this real
Yeah.
quick. How many times per day do you get someone yelling at you to put a bowling alley in Burleson?
A lot.
Because
Yeah.
I know online, that's all everyone talks
Yeah.
about.
It is the thing people want that we don't have more
Yeah.
than anything else.
Yeah.
And we've been
Really?
trying.
I've always
several
thought that
years.
was a
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah, several
Definitely.
years. And we always think we're getting close, but we've got some interest now, and so hopefully we'll get there.
What'll end up happening is someone will build it, and then people will be like, "Oh, this is awesome," and then it will be like a normal bowling alley where there's like 20 people that go.
This whole idea of the family entertainment, we got bowling.
Oh yeah, totally.
and-
Got two
arcades
movie theaters in
and-
Burleson. Whoever
Yeah.
thought that would happen?
Yeah,
And 2 Chick-fil-A's. Wow.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we're growing, man. This is incredible. Seriously.
Tim Hughes,
Oh yeah,
We
Tim
know
used to
Tim.
teach it. He was one of Cameron's principals from
vice
elementary
principal, I think.
school.
But where was that? It was. I guess that was at Kerr.
No, before
that.
Where'd you go to elementary school?
Elementary school, Norwood.
Norwood. Yeah.
Norwood, one of the oldest
Principal
staples in
at
Burleson.
Norwood.
You're a Viking.
Yeah.
Norwood.
Yeah. Wow. I haven't heard that term in a long time. He says most good artists are loners, but Brad kind of shatters that stereotype. Amazing. Live
Oh.
art well under the normal. God bless Mark Kostabi, right?
Kostabi.
Kostabi?
Oh yeah, he always liked
I feel like I
Tim
said
liked
that
Mark
word
Kostabi,
correctly.
who was a famous artist in the '80s. You remember who he was?
No.
He did sort of pop art that was. It's really cool. He's probably still around, but he was doing shocking art stuff
Yeah.
that would just make people be like, "Is he really doing that? Oh, I can't believe he's saying that." You know.
Yeah.
Now before outrageous, that was before outrageous became everyday. You
Right.
know?
Right.
So he was cool.
You're saying it wasn't outrageous every day in the 80s?
Well, not compared to where we're at today. Not trying to go negative on you,
I mean,
but
did you see their shoulder pads? The size
Th-
of the
yeah,
shoulder
that's
pads
true,
in
that's
the
true.
80s?
The
That was
fashions were
pretty
crazy.
outrageous.
you know, but
Well, you only think it wasn't outrageous because that was your wheelhouse, right?
yeah. Well, I grew up in the '70s, actually.
All right.
So
Well, I mean, he
by the
was
time
in
the
his
80s
prime
hit-
in the 80s.
You were in your
he
prime
grew
in
up
the
in the
80s, yeah.
70s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was in my prime. In
Based
the
on the
80s.
stories I've been hearing since I moved back.
Uh-oh.
Oh, gosh.
Well, I've been reminiscing recently, and you know, it's coming up on my 40th high school reunion.
Yes,
this
I know
year.
because it's coming on my 30th.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Speaking of special anniversaries, Gina's Pizza is celebrating their 50th year this year.
Nice.
So if you're ever in
Gina's.
Burleson, Gina's maybe one of the oldest businesses in Burleson that's still around.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Gina told me when she moved her business here, people hadn't eaten pizza before. Like there were no Italian restaurants.
Wow.
So it took her a long time to convince people it's not a hamburger. It's
Yeah.
it's crust.
Yeah.
It's got these, and it's incredible pizza. She
It is
took
a
it.
good pizza.
She was from Italy, but she had moved
Sicily
to
even.
Sicily, yeah, and she had moved to Chicago or somewhere and gotten all this experience where the pizza is incredible. My nephew went
Yeah.
over there with us the other day, and
From
he's
Chicago.
a pizza. Zach is everywhere he goes, he tests the pizza because he's from Chicago. That's
Yeah.
what they do. They live it, and even he was impressed.
And why is it that the dinner salad at Gina's tastes so good too? Because
I don't
I
it's
know
just
there's
leaves.
nothing to it.
there's nothing crazy about it, but it's better.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It's the Burleson Water.
Not sponsored by Gina's,
I
but
think maybe it's
my heart
I think
is-
it's their. Well, first of all, they do the was it mozzarella cheese they put in?
Oh, yeah,
their
yeah,
salad?
yeah.
And then their creamy Italian dressing.
My heart,
Oh my
both my
God.
heart and my arteries are sponsored by Gina's, just not
Yeah.
this show.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be over there doing a mural for them about Gina, but with this virus, they've got me locked in over here. So
Yeah.
they've got a wall ready for me. They're gathering photographs. So coming soon, a new mural about Gina in Gina's
That's gonna be
restaurant.
awesome. Maybe have a special party to.
Yeah, we
Unveil
we
it.
should.
That'd
We
be
really
cool.
should.
That would be
Ken.
cool.
I had my 11th birthday party there, so that's how special it is to me.
Oh yeah, man, it's the best pizza around. Still is, I think.
It really is.
And so support them. They actually have started hiring young people.
Oh yeah, that's something that's cool. Is that Gina's? You know, it's one of those pizza dives that if you go in there, there's maybe 2 other people there at any given point, and you're curious how they stay in business. But it's because mostly to go stuff. It's a pizza place like that. But recently, because they've been hiring younger people, not the recipe has not changed whatsoever, but the way they're doing business is a little bit different, just slightly enough to where they're getting like 3 or 4 new customers per day, and more power to it, man. That is so cool.
Yeah, you gotta adapt. You know, a lot of businesses pass away when the owner passes away. And if you're smart, you take an established business and build it from there because it's already got an established reputation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So Ken, is there anything? I was looking online on it because I never thought I'd be so loyal to a grocery store, but
Yeah.
both City Market and no, the horses are running.
That's cool.
They're running
Flip
away
it
from
around and
Corona.
show
Yeah.
Kim?
Anyway,
What's that?
It was,
Turn your
no, it was
camera.
too late. It was too late. There was probably turkey out there or something. Anyway, but yeah, I'm really loyal to City Market and also HEB.
Yeah.
And HEB posted this thing. They were like, we're doing this thing for seniors. It was really cool. But you go in the comments and everything's like, well, but there's always so many lines or so. It's what so, and that's true because people are hoarding stuff irresponsibly. Is there anything like the city or government can do to? This is what people are asking
Yeah.
at least to help with the
Yeah, ultimately there is. I think what we're seeing though so far is that the grocery stores have calmed down, right? Or it's not the grocery stores have calmed down; it's that the people have calmed down.
Right. They've
a
got
bit.
their things now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think they're starting to get like what things that we need to be worried about and things that we don't need to be
Right.
worried about, right? And also our grocery stores have done an amazing job of adapting. So that they've changed their hours to give themselves more time to kind of
Dollar
focus on
General is like the first hour
stocking
they're
up.
open. It's only for senior citizens.
Yeah,
and stuff.
so and then they put the limitations on certain products. So I think they've helped a lot, and that has helped sort of adapt people's behavior about how they're
Right.
doing their grocery shopping. But ultimately, yes, there are things that you could do if it comes to it. But so far, I've been pleased at the degree to which that has calmed down.
There's only so far you can take it without getting onto someone's civil liberties as well, like from the government.
No, I
standpoint,
mean that's the tough thing is you get into these situations where you got an emergency or disaster, and the authority of the government kind of expands, and you can do some things that you don't particularly want to.
There's a fine line. For
Yeah,
sure.
and then the other thing we want to be careful is we don't want to do things that cause people to think they have to run to the grocery store.
Right.
Yeah. So.
That was something that was interesting for me. I was talking to different people online, and it was like, there's the people that freak out at the beginning, so they hoard all the toilet paper, all the whatever, and then there's the people that have to respond to that, and they're like, okay, well, because those other people exist, now I have to go do that because it's all going to be.
You're right.
But it seems like you're right. People are calming down.
Yeah.
And also, I've heard that. I'm not a journalist, so I can say this. I've heard that just people are telling me that online that there's going to be a surplus soon because all the stores have ordered so much, but all the people have already got all their stuff. So hopefully
at some point the demand has to come back
Right.
down a little bit, right?
Right.
And the thing that I've been told, and we check into these things because the supply chain is important to us at the city. First of all, it's important that everybody has their daily needs
Right.
met, and then second of all, it's important to us that the responders and others who are responsible for sort of meeting the needs of the community, that their supply chains needs are met. And so, we have checked on these things, and there is really not an issue with having enough goods and supplies.
That's good.
The only issue that we have is the ability to get them
Right.
from the warehouse to the
Yeah,
shelves.
I think
to meet the
HEB,
demand.
just on that thread, HEB responded. They said either this week or yesterday they sent out 1,700 trucks. Not our local HEB, that'd be ridiculous. But HEB as a corporation sent out 1,700 trucks to Texas, just the different
Yeah.
Texas ones. Of course, that could just cover Austin because there's so many in Austin. But yeah, so it seems like the one thing that I've noticed not that tiny Texas towns are always super like friendly anyway,
Yeah.
but we're being especially courteous right now, being like, oh, here you go right ahead and pass, and,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah,
good to
that's
see
true.
you, and oh, you
Yeah.
first, you lots
Yeah.
of you firsts. And,
Yeah, there is.
You know.
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
And that's good too because people are stressing out. On the other hand, I've gotten a few calls from people like really scared, and I'm just listening to what they're saying because those fears are real to a lot of people.
I think what Vice President Pence said yesterday when a reporter asked him, "What do you say to people who are afraid?" And he said his answer was, "Don't be afraid, be vigilant."
Yeah, that's.
And I think
good.
that's actually really smart.
Yeah.
What we're going through is serious. It is worrisome.
And it's easy to get cynical too.
Yeah, but it is what it. For a lot of us, it is what it is. And so, what's up to each of us is to be as smart as we can be to protect ourselves and to not be part of a larger problem, but to be part of a larger solution.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and then see.
That's a good one.
I mean, as far as sloganism goes.
No, but in that context, then see. Okay, well, in my world, in my role, in my neighborhood, my corner,
Right.
what are
my studio?
Yeah, my studio. What are the things I can do to help? And by the way, giving people a little slice of a day that is, hey, think about something beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, think about
Yeah.
something nice.
We've got
Uh,
such a beautiful day here.
yeah.
You can't even believe it. We're
Well,
so blessed.
and you know what? We've been saying in the city of Burleson for days. You know, like, well, now we're having. There's so much we can't do indoors now, and
Right.
we gotta social distance. It's a great time to go outside.
That's
and
what
enjoy
we've
the park.
said.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Now listen.
And finally, it really is a great day to go
Yeah,
outside.
it's
Yeah.
been room blew me. I joked yesterday. I was like, man, those apocalypse movies get it right because it's all rainy and
I know.
gloomy.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, and I kept saying, I'd say, you know, every time we do an official podcast or video, I'd say it's a great time to go outside, enjoy our great parks. And somebody
Yeah.
in the comments would go, "Really? Have you seen the weather outside?" I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I was
"It's
just
gonna
like-
get nice."
Like
again."
you're not wrong.
But how does
No,
that
come
work
on.
at the park? You just don't talk to anybody. You keep your own group. You got a rope
Yeah,
around
6 feet.
you.
Sit,
what?
keep your 6 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think like, just do this. You know,
Yeah, you're
Okay.
good.
It's mostly just don't spit on people.
well, that too.
Is
Yeah,
that?
that's
I
the
mean,
thing,
but
too, yeah.
touching is bad too.
Touch is
right?
bad. You know, remember your
Elbow things, cool,
grease.
yeah.
Crystal Livingston earlier called me the most eligible bachelor in Texas, and I'm like, right now, I don't know if
No.
that's a thing. You can't really
No,
go
there's
out
no
and-
dating going
There's
on.
no dating happening.
Yeah. Oh, well, there is if you're going to the beach. Some people want.
Yeah,
to the
it's
beach.
funny. I hear
Yeah.
lots of single people saying, "I've been preparing for this social distancing thing for my
Yeah.
whole life."
Oh,
No,
yeah.
it's totally-
Y'all
well,
have
that's
this new
funny.
generation.
No, it's not. You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Especially us artist types, not so much him because he's a social Sam.
But all you introverts are.
Oh, the worst.
What?
So like this is like I got my video games ready.
Yeah.
So like literally life has not changed very much for me because
Yeah.
you know I do music videos and documentaries and promo videos, which I'm pretty good at.
Yeah.
For a living. So like all the businesses are shut down. So this is why we're doing this. Is because it's like, well, for all intents and purpose, like there's not much has changed for someone like me.
Yeah.
And I don't have kids, so
Me
like
either. This is
you
what
know.
I'd be doing anyway.
Yeah.
Other than the mayor's here, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
No, listen. Even to make it cooler, how are our parks? Do they? I mean, how is
Fantastic.
it?
Yeah. So I'll give you some good news. Okay. So the parks are in great shape. That's and if you've not taken advantage of Bailey Lake Park and the bike trails.
Oh,
like
that
the-
Bailey Lake
the-
Park is beautiful.
It's beautiful, and then the bike trails, the mountain bike trails behind Chisenhall Park are awesome. You're going to get really muddy now, but hey, somebody
Man, that's half the experience.
somebody sent me a message the other day, said they took their kid mountain bike riding, and Sean Murphy, who's the band director at Centennial High School, just sent me a text message, said he just got back from them taking his one of his boys to ride a mountain bike. Said he hasn't been that muddy in about 20
Excellent.
years.
Yeah.
But
Excellent.
it was a great day.
There's a
So-
bunch of like for me it's always easy to get cynical about the way how much money influences America and corporations and
Yeah.
everybody's yelling it at everybody, but man, everybody like top to bottom is stepping up to the plate these
Yeah.
days. Like I know a bunch of my friends like that work in malls or something that obviously can't be open, they're getting paid sick leave.
Oh, yeah,
sick leave,
corporations are
or
coming
like
through.
they're all coming together. Like there's so many. I was just looking up because my dad loves football. I was just
really
looking
do.
up how to. I was like, well, there's no sports happening right now either. Maybe I could watch some old games that I
Yeah.
haven't seen or something,
Yeah.
or showed him, just for some sort of sense of normalcy. And the only way you can do that is with NFL Game Pass, which is
Yeah.
like a subscription
Yeah.
service,
Yeah.
but it's totally free
That's awesome.
until May. So like, there's different ways to entertain ourselves, and that's why there's everybody and their dog is live streaming right now.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, well, it's everybody's stuck at home, so we got to keep busy. So
Yeah, keep ourselves. Yeah, and hey, I got about 5 minutes.
Oh, you're fine.
So-
Okay, so there's one or two more questions. Kathy Smith says, has the date for the city election changed? Read that it might change to
So-
November.
Here's so because I'm on the ballot, I'm really taking a very hands-off approach to the May election.
That
Oh,
makes
okay.
sense, yeah.
But what I can say is this: is that the governor has given cities permission to move their May elections to November, and almost every city I know of, as they are meeting, they are making the decision to do that. I think most people are saying They don't know how we could have an election right now because early voting
Yeah.
would start in about 3 weeks.
Right.
Well, not
And,
only that, everyone's just so stressed.
Well,
that they
and
wouldn't
you
be
also
able to
think that
research
most of
and-
the people that work the polls are in their 60s or 70s.
Right. Yeah.
So it just makes it logistically very difficult. And then I also know every day I'm on a call with all of the mayors in Tarrant County and the
That's
county
right.
judge, and there has been a lot of discussion about trying to get the governor to give us alternative dates because they don't want to wait all the way till November. The governor yesterday moved the primary, which was going to happen at the end of May, to July 6th.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I think some cities are asking the governor to let us consider that date as well. So the answer is I don't know, and you won't hear me advocate for any particular solution. I'm going to leave that to the rest of my council members who are not on the ballot. But
That's a good way to do it.
yeah,
just
so
to be safe.
so the possibilities are it could go on in May. Most election officials are telling us they don't know how they could accomplish that and give everybody sort of fair access to the ballot. So I don't think it's going to happen.
Especially, we still don't have a handle on how widespread.
Well,
We
this
don't
thing
know
is.
how long this is going to play out. But
Let me ask about the big picture
Yeah.
of the election.
yeah,
Now, being a mayor is kind of trendy, and I'm sure you've talked to Mayor Pete.
I have not talked to Mayor Pete actually.
But this
But
is going to.
he's got such dreamy eyes. How could you
Yeah,
resist?
I mean, you're on the phone with the mayors. Get Mayor Pete on there. See,
I will say, Mayor Pete, I loved part of his message because he said something that we have been saying in Burleson for about 5 years now, and that is just the importance of belonging and giving people a place to belong.
That's
And
right.
so if you've heard me speak at all in the last 5 years, you have heard me say that one of the most important things we can do is make Burleson a place to belong for
Well,
everybody.
it sounds like
Yeah.
you had at least one presidential candidate listen to you because he
You know
sounds
what?
like he stole your stick.
I think part of it is that he's a mayor.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
you-
mayors are
as a
responsible for
mayor-
the people.
Well, and you get that. To me, that's it's the best thing you can be as a city is a place where people feel like they belong.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what Burleson.
So if it ends up pushing to November's going to be a busy season politically.
yeah, I don't know how
That's
that's
gonna
going
be
to work
insane.
Yeah,
out.
so
That's gonna
I
be
think there's
crazy.
another possibility would be July, but
Right.
now that's
There's
not
no
an
way to
option.
know.
But it could be, in the next few days. I think the governor could add that as a possible
Yeah.
day. Because one of the things that the Betsy Price in Fort Worth said today, they have on the May ballot, they had scheduled they have something called the Crime Control CCPD, Crime Control and Policing District, I think. So they have a half-cent sales tax revenue that goes toward funding public safety.
Oh, okay.
wow.
And it has to be renewed every 5 years, I think it is. And so it was on the ballot to be renewed
Oh
in May.
man.
It expires automatically in August if it is not renewed an election before then.
Oh, they're going to
So
have to do
what
something.
Mayor Price said is they do not think it's feasible in Fort Worth to hold an election in May, but they also cannot wait until November to have it because their CCPD
Interesting.
would expire. And in Fort Worth, they have a lot of their police law enforcement function is funded through that CCPD.
Oh, geez.
So it's not something they can just figure out overnight.
There's
It would-
all these
yeah.
things
Things
that
you don't
behind
even
the
think
scenes
about.
that you don't even realize.
Yeah, but y'all
Yeah.
will figure it out. Y'all are smart
You have to.
folks. You
I mean,
gotta
and
work
whatever
together.
it is. I mean, sometimes there's not a good answer or a good solution, and then you just got to work through all.
Everyone thought the Iowa,
fix.
like doing it on your phone, that would be such a simple solution. Turns out that
Not
was
so much.
Not so.
So,
easy. What
uh,
about just mailing it in?
Yeah, who thinks?
I want to mail it in.
Yeah, I think ultimately, that has been something that was talked about. A lot of people said one of the governor's office just let everybody vote by mail. Problem is, you can't. You could do that, but you can't ramp up for it really quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because
Yeah.
we don't even we don't have enough ballots to mail to everybody. I mean, you could do that, but even the vote by mail is very cumbersome. So every ballot that goes in, it has to be it's stuffed in parts,
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and it
right.
has to be done very technically.
Oh, yeah.
And then when they open it, and count it, it's like it is a very cumbersome.
Oh yeah.
So
And
even to
imagine-
do
How
that,
are you
you
gonna
have,
do that in rubber gloves?
even
Imagine
right,
the
yeah.
paper cuts. I mean,
Yeah, well, you got the rubber gloves.
I mean, it
on,
could be.
it's
And
all
I,
the
so
thing.
I think here's what I think is ultimately someday we'll be voting online, right?
Right. Hopefully, yes.
Someday, but I
once they
think
figure it out.
I think the next step is we go to a much more significant vote by mail. Right now, in a local election, the only people that can vote by mail are people who are 65 or older, people who are disabled, people who can prove that they're going to be out of town on election day, or people who are in jail but not finally convicted of felony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So I think the first thing, that's one of the next things that'll happen is we'll open. This teaches us a lesson, right?
Yeah. Right.
I think we probably will be opening up voting by mail to a lot more people. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that seems.
And then at
safer.
some point we're like, well, let's just all vote by mail.
I
I
know.
mean, there's
I
some
don't
states where they're,
understand.
I think, doing that now. So
I mean, it makes it a lot easier, especially when it's polling day. Some people are getting off work. And
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Now I will tell you, all the things you have to do to mail in your ballot and like to get it right, it's actually easier just to go in and
Oh,
vote in
really?
Oh,
person.
really?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but can they set a huge to-go line on the service road
Yeah.
of where you just go hand your ballot in and you're in your
At
car
some point, yeah.
and drop
you
it in a
can't-
box?
You cannot do that. You could not do that today.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it's not possible given all the other.
If you
election
want
laws.
ideas, go to this
Yeah.
guy.
I know, right?
I'm
I've
actually
had to be-
all right. I'm cheating because I'm going to put that here on this highway in this painting.
Yeah, there's got to be a big
The
vote
thing
sign
is going
somewhere.
here. This is eat to go.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a girl here serving food right on the highway.
And
So
taking
we
votes,
could-
apparently.
there's nobody on the highway. So why not just have your to-go line or your voting line?
Yeah.
Just go on the highway, build a big truss.
Can you add
up
a
there.
vote to go into your
Vote
mural
to go
somewhere?
now.
Yeah.
See, this is why he's here.
Vote by
I need
drone.
more ideas. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
have enough ideas.
Yeah,
Ken.
you don't have enough ideas.
But I do need more ideas, so feel free to send them
All
to
right.
me. And anybody watching, like my page and send them to me.
Yeah, well, Ken, I know you got to get
I
out
do,
of
I gotta
here.
go.
You gotta go.
Um,
I'm gonna elbow
Thanks
you
everyone
over
for
here.
asking.
Thanks
some
for
questions.
having me.
Oh, thank you.
Here we
for
go.
coming. Now talk to Kelly Clarkson about coming over, okay?
All right, I'll do
Yeah,
it.
she's
All
our
right,
guest
I
for next
appreciate
week.
it.
All right.
We
See
do
y'all.
need some music over here. Be careful pulling out.
Oh, here, I'll go. Brad, why don't you talk to them? I'll go watch the road for him.
Okay.
There we go.
I don't know if anybody's still watching, but I've been fortunate enough to talk to Ken for
Other
many
comments are
years. I don't read that well, but I will answer some questions here. You don't really want to look at me. Look at that beautiful pasture, huh? Beautiful day out there. And now I can focus on reading. Okay. You guys, we'll have to have Ken back to talk more about government because I love government. That is cool to see how things actually work. But when I'm trying to paint, it's a little hard to focus on it. So I'm no expert on that, but I hope everybody can see what I did over here. I'm gonna try to do this like the weather guy does. Let me see the camera telling me how to do that. Anyway, I painted that in there. I'm just letting that dry real quick. That may be how the city goes. Now I'm gonna paint Dallas in here, and that should be any minute now. It should dry. This is acrylic paint, so it dries really fast. I've kind of painted wet on wet. This is called wet on wet. So as you can see, there's some dark spots in here in the sky, and that makes it kind of cool because the further away it gets from the earth, the darker the sky gets. And then so when you walk up on it, that looks like a natural sky. That actually looks like the sky I'm looking at when I turn around and talk to camera, which is this. Okay, so I am drawing my reality, and as I said, that's where Dallas would be. So through the day, this won't take me long. I'm going to keep painting. Y'all keep making suggestions. And one thing I wanted to say, we are sponsored by Thread Tats. If you like this handsome shirt with my logo, this one in particularly already has some paint on it. By the end of this painting, this shirt and the one under it, and whatever one I'm wearing, you guys can buy it. Order it from Thread Tats.
Sponsored by Thread Tats.
Thread Tats. I'm going to paint their logo up there after I take a break. And once I paint those buildings, once that gets dry enough, I'll paint the buildings, and that'll look really cool. I think it looks good. I'm got some good ideas from Ken. Really, actually, he's such a smart person. You know, I mean, it's like so nice to have the
And
mayor
a sweet
of our
guy
little
too.
town.
He,
oh my gosh,
he
that's the
I
mayor.
sent him a message. I was like, "Hey, we're having this show. Do you mind?" He was like, "I'm there, man."
Nice.
And I was like, "Oh, I'm just following up," because usually people are like, "Yeah, well, let me look at the calendar." I don't know. He was like, "No, man, I'm there."
yeah, nice. So that's cool, and it's cool to talk to the mayor. Each mayor is doing a big job right now. They coordinate with their fire chiefs and stuff.
I'm friends with one of my clients is actually the mayor of McKinney, the new mayor of McKinney, and that was one of the first places that got corona. And he's been
Oh, really?
he's been updating everyone every single day, multiple times a
Oh,
day,
man.
and he's been really, really good. So shout out to Mayor George Fuller, I think is his name. I don't know. I just
He calls him George.
yeah, of McKinney. He's doing a great job. And so is Ken. It was great to see
Oh
him.
yeah, that's cool. Now, if we had my friend Andrew who used to work in my studio.
Oh, Emma. Oh, yeah. So, by the way, speaking of thread tats and the splatter shirts, Emma says more splatter shirts. You can get your own Brad Smith art splatter shirt, which looks a lot more.
Yeah, more splattery.
more splattery than
There's
this.
a commercial on her.
Send
page.
her a message, and she's in the chat. Emma Sailors. She'll get one out to you.
Now, I don't know if anybody's watching because I haven't figured out all these knobs and buttons and everything, but I am really enjoying this. This is going to be a great painting. I need to take a break for just a minute. Cameron's going to run some stuff. I don't know. He's a filmmaker, so he's got these cool music videos.
I don't have the music videos lined up, so we'll just go back to. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Why don't you play something? But I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and I'm going to paint the buildings in.
What we're gonna do is we got hats too.
Hats. Oh yeah, don't forget
Brad
about
Smith
hats.
art hats.
Yeah, yeah.
What we're gonna do for this first break is probably just go back to playing the Western Flyers just for now, and then the next break I'll set up some music videos that I've done and all that jazz.
And I'm going to keep painting. So if you need a break, take a break from the painting you're working on. I don't care if you're copying me or not. This is kind of fun.
Jordan, hello Jordan.
Hey Jordan, a family artist. We got a bunch of artists in the family. Oh, I hit the camera.
That's okay. But we're gonna take a little break for about 10 minutes or so.
Okay, thank y'all.
We'll keep this. Are you gonna paint or are you gonna? roll?
Yeah, I'm gonna just take a break and then I'll paint some more.
Okay, so we'll go back to standby and see you in a second.
eyes are bright with light. I don't normally reach for a sign, but it seemed like the timing is right. Like all of the stars align. Well, sleep, I don't think that I will. That old ache I can no longer feel. My mind is a-flying, but my heart is still. Just maybe my dreams can be real. Big moon shining on me. Big moon smiling on me. Tonight you are so full. Are you telling me true? Don't lie to me. Big moon. Well, I tried to climb mountains before, knocked on tightly shut doors, sailed into the deep, got pushed back to shore, but the sky tells me try it once more. Big moon shining on me. Big moon smiling on me. Ocean tides, comet flights, astronauts and satellites, raging wars, the baseball scores, spring and fall. You see it all. You see it all. Big moon shining on me. Big moon smiling on me. Tonight you are so full. Are you telling me true? Don't lie to me. Big moon. Big moon. Walking down the lonely road, nothing was said. Well, then a man come out from nowhere, grabbed in my hand. He said, let me tell you something I can see from back there. Some nasty blues got hold of you, I'll take it from here. Just looking at you, boy, I know you had your life planned out. Was gonna meet a nice girl, buy a nice house. Was gonna be up so high that you could never be brought down, but them blues got a hold of you to mess you around. You can't change what's been cast, cause that is your lot. When the blues do your hand, well, they give you what you got. Well, you better meet you up, or will you push on through? Cause you can't choose your blues, they choose you. I said you must be a wise man who lives from his heart and soul. Cause I put on a good show, nobody knows. I look good on the outside, but I'm scared to thin. He said as long as you hide him, the blues gonna win. You can't change what's been cast, cause that is your lot. The blues do your hand, boy, they give you what you got. You better they choose you. I told them I'd try to run away, and they stabbed me in my back. What? My back? Stabbed me in my face. Stabbed my back. Stabbed my face. Then he disappeared. The breeze began to stir. They left me standing all alone, but I could steal his word. Will you let him eat you up, or will you push on through? 'Cause you can't choose your blows, they choose you. It's a black sky day. Can tell it ain't gonna change. I seen it coming from miles away. Where the rain settles in, that's when it all begins. I can feel the pain on every pore of my skin. 'Cause there's me I don't even know. Some unseen won't let me go. And if tomorrow never comes, let it be so. Well, the words that I spoke, my crowded plans all broke. Memories creeping on a dark cloud of smoke. Well, it's a black sky day, black sky day. Oh, carry me away, black sky day. I do when I don't have a song? Where do I go? Who do I call? When my lines won't rhyme anymore, I'm afraid I've lost it all. What do I do when my dreams of gold are fools and their worries have taken their toll? My anger, rage and red roars, thought I was good, but I've lost all control. Tell me true, what do you want from me? With my restless fears, you get what's best of me. Fight me, flurry fist, and then sing like a bird in a tree. Outside my window while I try to sleep. Oh, truth, what do you want from me? What do I do when my passion has gone? I'm a shell of myself, oh, I feel all alone. My hands are shriveled and old, no, they won't ever do what they're told. Tell me true, what do you want from me? With my restless fears, you get what's best of me. Fight me, flurried fist, then sing like a bird in a tree. Outside my window while I try to sleep. Oh, true, what do you want from me? There it sits, perched in its nest. I'm afraid to take another step. Tell me true, what do you want from me? With my restless fears, you get what's best of me. And fight me, a flurried fist, then sing like a bird in a tree. Outside my window while I try to sleep. Oh, true, what do you want from me? Oh, truth, what do you want from me?
Microphone. Where art thou, microphone? Get it, Art? Because we're
Yeah,
anyway.
I hear you.
All right.
It's funny.
So let's
Yeah,
scooch over a little bit. I'm a
Come
real
on,
wordsmith.
Which way?
The way towards the camera.
Let me go over here.
Or you can sit back there next to your microphone. That works too.
Okay, how about back here?
Look at that. That's cool.
I'm safe spacing over here.
Yeah.
Distance.
Oh, speaking of which,
All right. We've got a little bit.
that
of
was
this
cool.
left,
I tossed a
folks.
thing from the
Very-
foreground to the background. We're just that in sync.
Hey, I'm just telling you, it's kind of weird doing this because I would just be painting and not talking to anybody.
You
But-
did way too much hand sanitizer.
Oh.
Jeez. It's all going down and it's like,
I don't know what.
he
this is
literally
all
doesn't
about.
know what to do with his hands.
Anyway, I like being extra clean here.
I mean, that's wise.
So this seems weird, inviting so many people into the studio because it's usually just me and Cameron and the dogs and the horses. But I'm going to paint for another hour and a half, and then once I start seeing the sunset, I'm going to take a break and turn the camera over there, and I'm going to feed the horses because at sunset the horses need to eat. And that might be kind of cool for y'all to escape, pure escapism, watching some horses get fed. Because they get real animated, and all right. Somebody told him he looked handsome, so now he's got a comb.
I'm
all of a
Texas's
sudden.
most eligible bachelor,
You're
according
doing-
to my childhood babysitter. So
That's creepy. Well,
you're the one that took it into a creepy. Why are you? What are you
I don't
implying?
know. why- That's weird. You said babysitter. I don't know
Well,
what.
I mean, she's not related to us. So.
Okay, that's cool. Anyway, so I'm gonna paint the buildings in, and it's gonna be Dallas because Dallas is exactly where that is. And I've painted the sky, and it's kind of fun. I don't know why anybody thinks this is entertaining or would, but I'm enjoying doing it. So if y'all want to just pipe up and tell Cameron something, I wish I could play music, but we haven't got that figured out yet where we can play music in the background.
We've got it figured out, just not legally speaking.
Yeah, I got to get that permission. You know, we don't want to copyright infringe.
Which is why the artists that we are playing are local artists that are friends of ours.
That we do work with. I do album covers if anybody needs one.
Yes, the Western Flyers, who we were playing at the very, very beginning. He did their album cover. So if
And
you go
they're
to
from
Spotify-
Burleson and some fantastic
Swing, Texas swing.
Texas swing. It's fantastic. There's a whole movement here, and Ken Shetter, who was here earlier, learned how to play the fiddle from Joey over there. And
We're father and son, if you can't tell by the fact we both did
Oh,
this
yes.
in unison.
Anyway, so I'm gonna paint the buildings in, paint Dallas.
Fred
real
Smith,
quick.
do you want to talk about like the materials you use? Because you just did the sky, and you know
Oh, okay.
it blends really well. How you
Yeah,
get it to
sure.
blend so well?
It blends well because I'm mixing water in with the paint. So it's basically a watercolor, and the canvas is the watercolor paper. So I'm building up a couple passes. Each pass is like a printing press. It's how I kind of look at it. So I start over here. This is where I want the sun coming in from left to right because that's the way people read. And then it goes a little darker here, just a little bit. Since I'm going to add canvas onto this for next week, it'll get darker until it turns into night down the canvas. How cool is that?
Lori says, "Hi guys, I'm late, but so cool. I'm." I think she's saying this thing is so cool, but
Oh,
she might be
yeah.
so cool too. I'm
Yeah, I'm
cousin
sure she
Lori, Nina's eldest daughter.
Oh yeah, Laura.
Lori.
Yeah, of course. I see your stuff on Facebook all the time. We're cousins and related, and you're in Michigan, so it's kind of cool. We're nationwide here. That's awesome.
We're, nationwide, we're on your side. Hashtag not sponsored by Nationwide, but why not?
Yeah,
We could
I
be.
hear you. All right, so I'm going to paint Dallas in there, and it won't take me long, so just check it out. And what I'm going to do, this is latex acrylic. You can buy it at any hobby store. Actually,
Home Depot.
you know, an old trick when we, didn't have budget and stuff.
Stop it!
Scruffy, is we'd go to Lowe's and buy the mismatched paint. Everybody knows this secret because it's hard to find the good colors now. But if you go like on Monday, Monday or
Scruffy.
Tuesday, there's usually
We're
a
gonna
lot
have
of
to take
colors.
this demon
And
dog back.
they don't know what to do with all these paints. Oh, I gotta take that.
Stop it!
Scruffy,
He's
hush.
3 times the size of you.
Come here. Anyway, so I gotta take this dog back, and then I'm gonna paint Dallas real quick. There's Scruffy. He's a house dog, and he has a problem with Cameron's dog, so I gotta take him back. I'll be right back, and I'm gonna paint the city of Dallas.
They get along just fine, just whenever we turn the camera on for whatever reason. Turtle, you're a good boy. Thank you for not trying to eat him. He's an instigator. If anybody's ever met Scruffy, then you'll know this to be true. Oh, I hit the thing on the thing. Yeah, thank you for, Emma, I didn't get to respond to you, but thank you for the comment on the standby video. Yeah, Jordan. Scruffer, he's super sweet once he gets over you, and if you're a woman, but, for us manly men, you know, he growls at us. Yeah, so, yeah, the standby video is made up of several different. So, anytime I would be bored when I still lived in Burleson, well, you know, before I moved to Austin and then now that I'm back, I would get bored and be like, hey, do you mind if I make like a little documentary on you? You know, I kind of want to practice this new technique or whatever. Or if he was bored and he was like, hey, I don't have anything to paint today. Why don't we do something? I would be like, okay, let's do something. So I have a few, and I'll probably show at least one of them during the next break. Cheryl Allen. Oh, I'll wait till I'll ask him this question when he gets back over here. He's getting his sketch already. Kelly Hauser, Lady Hauser.
Oh, nice.
Of
Yes.
Lady Hauser fame, of CNN fame, of NBC morning show fame, or whatever morning show she says, love that y'all are doing this, so cool, your dad is an amazing artist, Cam. Yes, that is true.
Is that Colin's wife?
No, that's Tennessee. This is Colin's sister.
Oh, okay.
Sister-in-law.
Well, has she seen that portrait I did of Colin?
I
to
doubt it.
My Instagram, it's on there.
Kelly, go to Brad Smith's Instagram, Brad Smith Fine Art. You'll scroll who knows how far, but probably pretty far. There's a portrait of Colin that is now hanging in the Tilt Gallery over at Shipping and Receiving, which is closed to the public. So good luck getting in there. Just look at it on Instagram. We actually probably need to go get all that stuff and disinfect it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Okay, so for those that weren't tuning in to when we were sketching it, she's going to your Instagram now.
Oh, okay.
Give him a follow, Brad Smith Fine Art. So we got Dallas going on here. But it's not like that. The building with the big cross there. That's not in Dallas. That's not a real building. So
Yeah, it's a real building, but the thing doesn't look like a cross.
yeah, it doesn't look like the Church of
It's not
Scientology.
intentionally supposed to be a cross. Now what I'm doing is putting some tape on here, and since it's still a little bit wet, it may not work.
This is good advice that
Okay.
he's giving.
But it doesn't matter because it's just paint, and you can't make mistakes when you're making art. You're just painting, and whatever happens, it's fun, and it only leads you down another path that you were probably supposed to go down anyway.
Cheryl Allen asks, where will this painting end up?
This is going to go on international tour from Burleson to Dallas, probably.
This is going to go on an international tour
No, I don't know. It'll go anywhere.
from this
Who
side of
knows?
the studio to that side of the studio.
Cheryl, that's, yeah, probably for a long time. It'll
about
go
20 more
around a
years.
pole and roll it up and put in the corner,
Yeah.
like so many of them have.
Unless, Cheryl, you want to buy it, in which case it'll go to wherever you are.
Yeah, no, it could go anywhere really, but that's
We
like
are gonna be
saying
selling
where
prints
your
of all
kid's
these.
gonna go. You know, how do I know? I'm gonna make it. It's like I'm birthing something here today. If that doesn't sound weird, I'm just saying.
That sounds
I'm starting
weird.
an idea,
Sound a little weird.
and I don't know where it's gonna go. I'm just responsible for where it's gonna go tonight.
We're gonna send it to UNT after. Well, first it's got to go to Hill College because its grades aren't good enough to go to UNT, and then it'll do a trial period of college at Hill College, And once it goes to UNT, it'll waste a bunch of money because it's not. Turns out he's actually just really bad at school, and then it'll be a failure and a disappointment to all involved.
Who are we talking about? You or me?
We're talking about the painting, of course.
Oh, the painting. Your brother.
Yeah, my brother.
Because that sounded very familiar.
It is awful. What are you talking about? Familiar.
Like, you and Hill College in your relationship there.
I met Ken Shedder at Hill College. Which is
Okay, one good thing came out of it. You got your grade point average up. That was good.
I actually kind of liked Hill College. If I'm honest, I liked it more than I liked UNT as a school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, it was because it was such a tiny college. It was a lot more like close knit, and you know, the type of place where you can have the mayor as one of your teachers.
You really weren't ready to leave home, were you?
I am not a good student. They need to make school for students that are not good students.
Okay, now here's an art tip real quick.
Art tip. Hot tip.
If I can find my razor blade.
Lose your razor blades. That's the hot tip.
You don't want to do that, but what you want to do is get your X-Acto knife.
It might not look it. This painting is 8x8. So Cheryl, I hope you have a very large wall.
No, Cheryl gets the friends and family discount.
The discount being you will get a 2x2 corner of the painting.
No, so now what I'm going to do is cut the tape and try not to go through the canvas. I'm going to cut the tape to make the appropriate angle on the building.
Eventually, once we get more and more sponsors and do this longer, we'll have multiple cameras so I can actually cut to and like you can see specifically what he's doing here, but just describe it.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do here basically, that didn't work.
It didn't
But,
work.
Sometimes I should use a ruler and I get too
This is a great art
excited.
show.
This is the shadow side of the building. Since the light's coming in here, this is where the shadow is going to hit. So I'm taping that off. Okay. Okay. Now, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good.
Pretty.
Don't-
I will get sued for that.
All right. Now, what I'm going to do is kind of draw this little white line around everything. Because it'll highlight the building and give me a line on it, a pretty accurate line of where I'm going to put the building. It's like a little highlight because everything reflects light.
So
Then I
much
don't have
of
to try to go back and get it later. It's already in there.
so much of creating realistic looking art is all about the light, the highlights, and the shadows.
Yeah, because you want your mind to look at it and your instinct tells you, wow, oh, okay, I get it. That's a huge building.
A lot of the most interesting things that I found, it's kind of like CGI, but that I find about murals is that a lot of it is how far can we push it into fooling your brain that it's real, but still, obviously, it's not. It's like kind of like finding the uncanny valley. There's like in CG, there's always a line, a threshold to where like it looks photoreal, but there's still an element, but my mind is responding to it as if it's something real, you know?
Yeah. So that's what you want. You want your instinct to say, hey, I want to look at that further. And then you go up and investigate, what's this all about? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm going to put a little of this right here so that it looks like there's some clouds behind that building before I paint them in.
So it's like the Brad Smith style isn't super ultra realistic, although he can do that.
Oh, I might do it depending on how fast this part goes.
But he's with the highlights and with the perspective and with the shadows and everything that he does. Your body instinctually still is like, oh, there's an image of something.
Yeah.
Like it's automatically responding, even though if you can tell not on second glance, but you can still tell that it's obviously not photorealistic, but it still works to
there's
your base.
plenty of cameras that can make photographs. So I'm just trying to add a little style and a little curve, almost a surrealistic view of it. I think that looks pretty cool.
Cheryl says there's some large silos in town and people are trying to come up with ideas on what to do with them. She suggested her famous cousin to paint murals
there you
on
go.
them.
We'll come out. I'll paint
We'll
a
come out to
sidewalk.
Michigan.
Oh yeah, listen, I want to come and see y'all anyway, and see your mom and everything.
We'll
we've
not
got
bring.
it-
We'll leave Scruffy at home.
Scruffy will stay with the babysitter. But seriously, that would be cool. I painted on huge. One time I did a 65-foot John Wayne on this concrete silo. It was cool.
I mean, they saw in the intro video the Weatherford project and you
Oh, yeah, that
standing
thing
and
was
then like.
huge. And one thing cool about that, it was painted on old rocks that they had put in the wall in like 1880 or something. So you could, as you rubbed your hands on the wall when you were painting, you could see old hay and stuff they used in the grout. It just had layers of paint on it.
It hadn't been seen or touched since the 1800s.
Yeah. So it was just an old rough wall. And
I mean, that happens whenever you work on pretty much any of these old buildings. Is
yeah, I guess it's old.
not
bricks
that
and stuff.
old, because most of the buildings you work on are built in like the 50s or something. But
Yeah, but a lot of times you get these old historic buildings, they're the ones that want a big mural. But silos, you know, there's so many things you can do with that shape. Or you can put it, one idea I have on silos is to put somebody from that town that really made a difference in that town. And have an artist paint a portrait of them with the sky behind them so that it looks like when you're driving up on that thing, you see this guy out there standing on the field. You know what I mean? Paint sky and the land and the guy standing there, or the lady, whoever made a big difference in your town. Then it tells the story, your history of your town. I'm going to do that somewhere. I do that every time I do one, but I'm just saying on a silo that would be cool. So there's another. That's a free one.
that's
an
a free
idea.
one. That's a big tip.
Tell your town that. That's kind of a good idea. Get an artist, a local guy. I'll come out there and draw it in, or we'll figure something out.
We'll figure something out.
If they'll let me out of off the ranch. That's
Jennifer
another
Qualls Williams says, "Looking good" from Ella.
thing. Oh, nice, Ella. Ella's a young cousin of ours, and she likes her art making.
We
She's
say
been out
cousin.
to
We
this-
don't know how old. It might be
I
a
don't know.
niece. It might be a.
She,
There's no telling.
Jen is our cousin for sure.
Jennifer's
That's her daughter.
Jennifer's the cousin. So it's like a I don't know. I don't know how it works. Ella's her.
Jennifer's our cousin, and Ella's her daughter.
I don't know what the names of all that, how that works. She's a family member. She says it looks good. That's
Thank
all I
you.
care about.
Yeah, that's all that really matters.
That's all that matters. We'll see you at the, I don't know, whenever viruses stop existing.
Yeah. No, I had a picture that where did I put my drawing? Okay, there it is.
Hot tip number 3: lose all of your things all the time. Classic artist life.
Yeah. I lost this postcard of Dallas.
We lost a postcard of Dallas. He needs that to be able to. Second cousin. Jennifer is the second cousin.
Oh, okay. Well, her father was Bert Qualls, and he was one of my favorite. And her mom was Judy, my wife's aunt, and just
Both
the
amazing
salt
people. We
of the
still wear.
earth. Oh
the,
my God!
His,
This is
his
okay.
new. Okay.
Yeah. Here, let me tell this story.
Okay.
Uncle Bert worked at Miller Beer for like 40 years. I mean, he was in there every day. He raised all of his girls to be brilliant business leaders and just great people. And his wife worked at TCU, and all the kids went to TCU, and he just went to his job diligently. And man, he helped us pick horses and stuff, and we wanted to buy a horse because he had his own horses. And when my wife was a kid, she'd go out to their house and ride their horses. So when she grew up, she wanted horses just like her Uncle Bert had. And he used to, when he retired, he gave me all of his, Aunt Judy gave me all of his old Miller shirts, and it said Bert on them.
We call them the Burt shirts.
Bert shirts. So people started asking me for them, so they became a big thing. So now we have these. They
These-
don't say Bert on it.
They're
but
totally modeled after like the work shirts. They're Dickie's
Yeah,
work shirts.
just like Bert's shirt.
They're totally inspired by Burt shirts.
So if you like the shirt, that would have been a Miller Beer logo on the Burt shirt, but now it's my logo, or Emma can do anybody's logo on there.
But we're selling our merch, so
we're
that's-
trying to sell our merch. But if you just want to use Emma's at Thread Tats, her service, she does that.
She embroiders. We are sponsored by Thread
Anyway,
Tats.
that's
And
Jennifer's
this is where-
dad, one of my favorite people ever. So,
Yep.
Back to painting.
But anyhow, K Ray says it feels like we're all keeping each other company. She's working in her store, Eterna, after hours.
Eterna health food.
Well, it's not food. It's like health supplements, healthy living. And she says we're working there with her.
Nice. That's nice.
nice to have some representation in Mansfield as well. Cheryl says dogs are always welcome. And I don't know if Scruffy counts as a dog so much as an actual demon, but we're thinking of inviting us. We're thinking of inviting you, meaning you, not me, because who cares about little old Cam? Up for Mom's 80th birthday, but thought it was too soon, especially with the virus and everything.
Yeah, we gotta just.
We'll get a hold of you. I'll try to follow the city council and keep that on their minds about the mural. The
Oh,
silos.
okay, yeah, that's a good idea. I hope we start seeing that. I'd love to do that for somebody.
Hey, if we can turn family visits into working visits as well, make some
That's
money while
always
we're in
good,
other
yes.
states, we're all about it.
Yeah, Cameron's a filmmaker, so he's got a wandering mind. He's always wanting to go.
I'm always wanting to go everywhere, and Michigan, I hear, is nice.
Yeah, my whole family was from, my dad and his family were from Michigan, so we got some roots there.
So what is that? That's a famous Dallas building. What is that one?
I don't know what it's called since I
It's
lost
cool
my
looking.
postcard.
He lost the postcard, so he doesn't know
I
what
had
any
it
of
when I
it's
went
called.
to get coffee. I know that.
Well, it's probably next to
Oh,
it.
there it is. Okay, it's over with my supplies, where it should be.
Where it should
Hello.
be.
But the cool part is I'm just painting the shadows in, just getting kind of a feel for what I'm gonna do.
It doesn't say the name of it on it, but this is his reference photo. It's a postcard. There we go.
Of Dallas. It's a
He's currently
fantastic
painting
shot.
this one.
And now, it's not a copyright infringement for me using that for reference because I'm not gonna just print it directly. I'm just using the building.
Well, it's a public building.
Yeah, but that doesn't always matter. But by the way, the same postcard company prints my murals and prints things I paint and never calls me. So fair is fair.
Fair is fair.
Anyway,
Speaking of which, back in the day, someone, what was it? We're not going to go into detail, but Crystal did mention Ice Ice Baby. That's how she, from back in the day. And you can find somewhere online. I'm sure you can find out more information about that, or message me separately, and I'll tell you all about it.
oh no, I can't talk about it. But it was a fun time.
It was a fun time.
And sometimes people use these things, and they get well known, and that's cool too.
That was
And that's about all I
that was
can
a
say
heck
about
of a
it.
diplomatic answer, is what that
You're
was.
making me nervous here, Cameron. Don't say anything. No, but it's all good. We're painting away here. And,
I was worried that we were going to make Ken nervous somehow,
I know, man.
not we didn't even ask him any tough questions at all, but
No.
you never know.
I was trying to stay away from politics.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody on TV already does that. We don't need that.
Yeah. No, he came in and he was like, "Listen, if we could just stay away from talking about politics in general." We were like, "No, we don't want to go into policy or anything. Like, this is not that kind of conversation."
No, it's hard to focus enough on making a painting, let alone when you're talking about politics and everybody's opinion. I'm so sick of everybody telling me their opinion. It's too much to think about, folks. Let's just enjoy the day. Look at this beautiful day. Cameron, show the pasture.
It's over there. It's green. I don't feel like turning the computer right now because you're making cool stuff.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
So Ken suggested when he was here to do vote, eat. What was it?
Drive through, vote, eat.
Drive
I
through,
like
vote.
it. I am doing
Vote to
drive
go
through,
is what
eat.
he said.
Vote to go. I'm doing that on the
I
next
love that
building.
idea. Vote
I
to
love
go.
it. That's what's going in this
So,
area.
Maybe that. Yeah.
This
right.
car's going to be doing. And notice I'm dripping all over, but it doesn't matter because all that'll be covered. And the only thing that matters is what I'm painting right now, and those drips will all get covered.
The drips are the ones that wind up on his shirt. Usually, that's what creates the splatter pattern.
But I'm making the paint real watery because I'm going to roll this painting up and ship it to whoever buys it on a canvas. And then I can always add it to their wall. We used to paint a lot of them right on the wall. But as the years went, they got painted over all the time when the business went out of business. So it's easier to have me do it here in the studio, ship it to you, and then go install it on the wall. And then when you change your concept, you still have the painting.
Kind of similarly, when I was growing up, and we were talking about my mom's old antique store, Randy's Antiques. On the back of it, he had done a big James Dean looking all he was doing the school thing.
Classic James.
Look,
Dean
I'm
pose.
cool guy. That kind of pose. And after, I guess they painted, that was actually on the wall, but he made a second one for the old malt shop. That was when I was in high school or so I'm not going to date that. But it's roughly
20 years ago.
No, somewhere around there. So he made that, and that one was like portable. It was on a big chunk of wood, and people would take pictures in front of it. I think My Life Was Liz did a pose out in front of it. Anywho, he after the malt shop closed down and another place came in, they took the thing down so they could put their own logo there. It was in this alley. It was really cool. And the thing, we assumed they like tossed it out or like burned it or whatever. And then years later, my buddy Danielle from high school, she was like, "Hey, I was driving on my way to work or to family or something, and was just driving by this old place, and I happened to see that James Dean, and I'm pretty sure it's the same one that you built, just lying outside on the street. Here's a picture of it." And it turned out what had happened was the James Dean somehow wound up in this old building in storage, and then that building was being either closed down or renovated or something, so they put it out, and there was a person across. We also know who. That's where the store
Jonathan
is.
Cook.
Yeah, Jonathan Cook ended up seeing it when it was out and was like, "Oh, I need that," because he's a cool guy and has like a podcast and is a real estate guy. And now it's on display at where he records his podcast.
So these things have a life once they leave here. That's all I'm saying.
We don't expect them to, but because we make them portable, we put it on canvas or put it on wood or whatever, we learned the hard way that people really, in Texas, they really, really enjoy tearing down stuff and starting over and painting over things.
Well, I'm sure that's everywhere. Progress. People, if you're spending a bunch of money on a new restaurant, you don't want the old guy who failed. You don't want his concept around your restaurant, so they paint over it.
Right. Who wants old, Coca-Cola sign on the front? Whatever.
Well, those would stay, but usually it's some kind of taco restaurant. The next one's Italian, so
It's weird because on lenses when you're standing next to James Dean or whatever, if you're seeing it through a lens, you don't realize how large these things are. Like even here, it looks like it's right in the background. You don't realize there's probably 10, 15 feet between me, well, maybe about 10 feet, between me and the wall. And when he gets up to it, you realize how actually enormous 8x8 can be. The same thing with the James Dean. The James Dean, I don't know, it was probably 8 feet tall at least.
Oh, it was probably more than that.
It was probably more than that. His head was like this big. And same thing that is so interesting about, this is what Ken was saying, is that you can paint, you can be a great painter, but to be a mural artist, it's a completely, not different skill, but there's extra skills you have to learn. You can't just do what you're doing small and then do it big, because you have to know about perspective, and you have to know these things are so big that a guy's eyeball is going to be 3 feet wide. So, anyway.
But lots of practice, that always helps.
Oh, Tim Hughes has a question.
Oh yeah, what is it, Tim?
Well, I gotta wait. My dad's looking
I
for.
gotta find some turquoise, man.
He's looking for turquoise.
I didn't think I'd add any turquoise, but now I need it.
So he says he didn't think he'd add any turquoise, but for some reason he's decided to add turquoise. Where are you adding turquoise?
Well, that building has a spot of turquoise in it. It always has.
Yeah.
And it's blue mirror kind of stuff, so it really matches the sky.
How important is color accuracy, being able to look at a thing and picking out colors from a photograph, or sensing nuance and all that?
I think it's really, is that his question?
No, that's my question.
Oh, I thought, it didn't sound like Tim. Anyway, what was your question?
So normal people wouldn't be able to look at a photograph and be like, "Oh, there's a little bit of turquoise right there." They'd probably see just like a blue-gray building, and like, there you go.
Well, if you do anything long enough, you end up getting pretty good at it.
You've also painted this building a million times,
A million
so
times.
you've looked at it a bunch.
Yes. And I've looked at it every time I drive by it. I'm like, wow, this reflects whatever the day is doing, and so you just kind of match that. I want this to be sort of a bright day on this side of the painting, anyway.
So Tim Hughes says definition is coming in on the mural now, but his question is, what was the first piece of art Brad remembers doing?
Man.
Well, it's probably that one that your mom was telling us about when she was here a month ago.
I don't even know, man. This is all I've ever done. I had a knack for it real young, so that's all they ever asked me to do. Instead of mowing, my brother's up there mowing the lawn. I'm in the house painting in sketching. So I worked it a little bit. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, so I've been doing it a long time. The first thing I can't even remember, man. I can't even remember.
How old do you think you were?
I was probably, man, I have no idea. I won the first poster contest in 4th grade. And when you're in school, you win a poster contest. That's kind of cool.
That's how old I was when Tim knew me.
That's right. So, in 4th grade, I think I won the first poster contest, and everybody's like, "You're good at this," and I'm like, "I am." And so from then on, my mom's wildly creative. She bought me crayons. She never expected me to do anything but just be an artist. So that was really cool. A lot of parents are like, "Man, you're never going to make a living doing that. You can't do that." And they dissuade their kids from doing it, even though they have a real natural skill to do it. My brother and I could draw almost anything when we were little kids. We'd sit in the back of the car and draw stuff. My dad was a traveling businessman, so we would drive around with him and go all over the country, and we'd just sit there and sketch. It kept us busy in the back of the car. And I think there's a natural instinct in some kids. Instead of picking up a guitar, they pick up a sketch pad and they just keep doing it. It keeps their mind active. So I would encourage it. Now, it is hard to make a living. I'm not saying that. But if that's all you ever hope to do and plan on doing, it just becomes part of the plan. You're aspiring, as a friend of mine wrote the other day. What do you aspire to? Well, I'll tell you what. We aspire to be able to work with what we are passionate about. So I've been totally blessed to be able to do that, but probably because my mom insisted on it.
What's funny, Tim, is I have a few when I'm having dreams, I have a few go-to locations that are recurring in my dreams. Norwood Elementary is definitely one of them, and I still perfectly remember the layout of every single, the hallway, which had the L, or not the L, the H, but with also kind of another cross wall. It was the linearness of it, and then the big gym, and then the giant 150-foot long painting that he hung up, and the cafeteria where kids would convince me to make fun of other kids, but I didn't want to, or not convince me. They would try to convince me, and I'd be like, I don't know, that sounds a little weird.
Tim put a stop to it.
Tim put a stop to it. He was a good guy. The nurse's office, which was right next to the actual office. I remember all of that stuff so well. There's that one, and then the house I grew up at, obviously. Yeah. He's reminiscing about everything. But me too. That's cool.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Mr. Hughes.
Everybody was holding hands as you left the classrooms. That's over.
I remember.
Not to be Debbie Downer here. I'm just saying.
I remember one time. Oh man, it was. They did a few really cool things in Norwood. I don't remember exactly when Tim came in, but I remember
probably right in time. Cool.
I remember whenever they were doing some sort of experiment that was what would happen if kids kept the same teachers from year to year?
Oh, that was a cool thing.
My class was one of the first experimental class. They were experimenting on the children, and they I think it was only one class that they did it for, but I think I was in 2nd to 3rd grade, or maybe 3rd to 4th, I forget. But the teacher followed you. That way they got to know the kids, got to see them grow, blah blah blah. And
Oh,
I thought
that
it was
was
really
cool.
cool. They ended up not continuing with it, but I loved it as a student. I totally loved it.
Well, that's because he had a crush on his teacher, Miss
That was a different.
McCullough.
No, it was a different teacher though.
Oh,
I think I don't know. Might
I
not have
think
been.
he loved his teacher. No, it was her. You got her 2 years in a row, and you were actually in love with her as a kid.
Well, I mean, did you see
She
how
was
big
cool.
her hair was?
Yeah,
it was
huge
the early
hair.
'90s.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I hear you.
I also remember looping. That's called. The state demanded it. Cameron.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was really cool, but then they stopped doing it. So I guess he was there during that. There was also a time when I got to experience the first, what seemed like a pandemic at the time, where in all of the schools, like where all the classrooms were, because you had the big gymnasium, and then over here you had all the classes and all all that kind of stuff. The septic, like the sewer pipes underneath the school, exploded and flooded the whole school and all the classrooms.
Oh,
So they had to move. They had to set up these huge, like, they took over the entire gymnasium and set up these like booths. They were like enormous cubicles essentially that were like mini classrooms. And I think we would rotate. Like, this was for a few weeks, and they were really really good at thinking on their feet. But I remember it was like, okay, this is like serious mode. We're all learning in one big room at the same time, and I don't know. It felt like we were like almost like a tornado had hit the school, but we still gotta learn. So let's make do with what we had.
hey, I don't know where this story is going, but that's also the same school where you got picked up on 9/11. Hello.
No, it wasn't.
What?
Do you not? That was you're thinking of Kerr Middle School. That was
Oh,
like
that's
10
right.
years later.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because that was sort of a weird day.
That was a really weird day. I mean, talk about epidemic, but I remember there's also no point to the ends of any of these stories, just because we're just trying to kill time.
No, we're not. I'm painting, man.
But yeah, I wanted to stay in school, but everyone kept pulling out, because by the end of the class, I really wanted to be like the only one left in class, because that would have been fun. But he ended up pulling me out.
Well, we thought the terrorists were going to hit the schools.
That's what I'm sure my mother thought.
She was a little paranoid.
A little paranoid about the terrorists, as everyone was and should have been that day.
Well, yeah, that was kind of freaky.
But yeah, that was 10 years after I was like that. I guess that was 5 years after I was out of elementary school. But the original story about the septic system bursting and
that is worse.
destroying the children's lives. That was probably 10 years. It's probably like 1991 or something. I don't know. Maybe not that old. But anyway, so whenever he tries to date his canvases, take it with a grain of salt. He's terrible at that. He'll be like, yeah, I started painting this one back in 1992. And it's like, no, you didn't even have the canvas or the space to build it until you built this, which was in 2000, until you built the studio. And then it's bad.
So there's a lot of senior
Moments?
senior pummeling from the
Oh,
boy who
I
now
see.
lives with me.
Yeah.
So that's what I have to deal with on a daily basis now.
Well, it was, my mother used to deal with it constantly, and I guess I've taken up that mantle.
Well, this is why we have a studio next to the house, because he can say to me, just go over to the studio, please.
Okay, Tim Hughes asks, what's the largest size mural you've done?
Wow. That 1,000-footer for Ken Shedder was pretty big, but
That was only 8 foot tall, though. And it
Yeah.
also was not 1,000 feet. It was just around one corner of a block.
no, that was around 3 corners of a block.
Was it around that?
Yeah, that
big?
thing was 1,000 feet. I'm not kidding you.
Hmm.
Anyway, but I think, man, I don't even.
Well,
know.
I think the heart of the question is, what's
Oh.
the most daunting?
Shipping and receiving is the hard one. That
Really? That was just another wall. Like doing a giant one like on the side of a silo or like where you're being
the 65-foot John Wayne was.
where you're being suspended and you're having to paint on a curve or like.
And it's windy. It's really weird. It's
I mean, surface area is one thing. The difficulty of it is another.
Yeah.
Like the one in Weatherford, that one's enormous. Or like the
They're usually about 100 feet wide. That's about how much I can digest. This one I did in the Burleson Toyota dealership, Family Toyota.
Mhm.
One thing cool about that is that when I painted it, they had a 100-foot wall for me to do, and we had just celebrated Burleson's 100th anniversary. So every 10 feet, I was able to put a new decade in historic context. So as you saw it, the time progressed all the way to the current time when the dealership opened up. And that's cool. And that's kind of the commercial work that I do. I take requests
yeah.
basically from clients who want a real nice experience in their lobby or whatever. And then when I'm not doing that, I make these crazy...
That one was crazy long, and you and I, maybe Mike too, hung it. And
Yeah,
it was suspended probably 20 feet in the air.
Yeah, because they're way up there. And you can go to my Instagram and see that one. But it is kind of cool because they're huge, and we put it on canvas here and then just go install it over there. So
Did Brad, Chrissy asked, did Brad do the John Wayne on the silo off of I-30?
yes, that's
the one
it.
that we're talking about. So if you're ever on I-30 and you see John Wayne,
I don't know if he's still there. He probably is. That was a long time ago, but he probably is.
he might have washed off. But either way,
That was 20 years ago, you know?
I mean,
Now, one thing that was cool is Cactus Jack's in Alvarado. That
he's
was
the
a
only
cool
one crazy enough to do a John Wayne on that in that format.
In the
So-
breeze, it was rough, man. It
Yeah,
was
Cactus
rough.
Jack is cool. In
Cactus
Alvarado,
Jack.
I drive by it every time I go get Chicken Express.
Oh, really?
Drove by it this afternoon.
No kidding. Wow.
Of course, there's a Walgreens or a CVS that's built in front of the mural now, but
And you can still see it, though.
you can still see it if you like look around the corner.
Okay, now here's a special effect I'm going to do.
Special effects, special hot tip from Mark.
Breaking news. I'm throwing metallic copper in the paint because the building has metallic copper on the panels.
There's this cool stuff called metallic paint that you'd think it would be kind of gimmicky, but man, it seriously does work really, really well to make something look
Different effects because, like, when the sun hits it, it makes the buildings look like real, like they're really reflecting. If I can get this open, let me find my tool.
Do you need a man to? No, his grip strength is actually a lot better than mine because he's used to gripping these paintbrushes is what they're called, like all day long for forever.
And brushing the horses.
And brushing the horses.
That's exhausting.
It's exhausting, and they do need it. What would happen if you didn't? They'd just get all gross and sad and.
Well, she'd be uncomfortable.
Chrissy.
Your mama wouldn't have liked that.
Chrissy is talking about a mural off West Side Antique Marketplace. Is that? I don't think that's the one that we're talking about. I think that might be a Style Reed one.
John Wayne is one of the only murals that people wanted there for a long time. The Texans weren't used to what murals could be until the internet came around.
Why don't you just go paint a pretty picture of John Wayne?
I want a John Wayne.
You go put John Wayne.
I got really kind of sick of painting John Wayne. Although I loved John Wayne as a kid, so that's weird.
I mean, John Wayne's cool. He was probably super racist, but
No, but quit saying that, man.
It's
That's
true.
Just what you young people think. At the time, we didn't even know that.
that does still makes it racist.
He was a big movie star. We didn't have any idea, man.
I mean, that doesn't make it not true.
Well, I mean, everybody his generation was just... I'm not making excuses for him.
No, it sounds like you're making excuses.
Well, I'm just saying, he's just a dude from a different time.
No, I mean, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's not true.
Look at how he was in our new eyes. You know?
All we can agree on is that he was a huge celebrity back at the time. maybe not the best actor, but who was back then? They were still trying to.
Somebody wore a gun. Well, that True Grit was
He
a
was
great
he
movie.
was old school handsome.
One thing I feel bad about John Wayne is that his wife saw one of my John Wayne murals.
Oh yeah, so he did.
Ken's
he did.
mom told me that
He did the side of in Old Town. If you go to Old Town, you'll see tons of murals
John
that he
Wayne's
did.
everywhere over there.
But on the old barbecue shop, this is a good example of a place that they were like, oh no, this is actually really cool. We're not going to paint over it.
Yeah, now they won't let me paint over this John Wayne that I painted on the barbecue shop when our friends owned it. And I don't like it because John Wayne's wife went over there for lunch to Babe's Fried Chicken. And
Which
said,
is directly across the street from the mural.
And you know, I gave him this classic John Wayne kind of snarl kind of look. And she didn't. She said his mouth didn't look like that. So now I can barely look at the painting without thinking of that. So I've been trying to paint over it ever since, but nobody from the city will let me do it. I should have talked to Ken about that.
We were supposed to talk to Ken about the land, but
Oh yeah,
ran out of time.
yeah. And his mom. His mom's Congress, Texas Congress or Texas
I
Senate.
don't know. He probably gets a lot of conversation. We're trying to not get too into politics, and we're just gonna have him hang out, talk about how this small town deals with the corona stuff. This is how we're dealing with it. So
Yeah. I'm painting Dallas.
I don't see any germs in this painting yet.
No, man, this is early. We're just doing
It's early.
nice highlights and stuff.
Chrissy says the one near the antique parking lot is on a silo, so that must be it then.
Yeah, it's got to be it, man. It's been there forever.
I just don't remember anything like being around
it's
it.
in Alito.
Alito. Well, I don't know. Oh, okay, yeah, right off Walsh Ranch Parkway.
Yes, exactly.
We know the Walshes.
Yes, quit name dropping, please.
Did I ever tell you the time that he was hanging out with Keith Richards
Hey,
and
quit
Mick
name
Jagger?
dropping. It's tacky. Please, your mama would not be happy with you.
I'm making jokes.
All right. Now, see how this copper looks? Isn't this cool with the copper coming in?
Yeah, there's not the sun kind of went behind the thing, so it's not sparkling as much as it does. But once it dries, especially once the light hits it,
Oh yeah, it's gonna be nice. I'm not kidding. And of course, this is just a block-in phase. This first phase is not really defined. I just know that the dark line on these buildings is going to contrast nicely to the sky behind it. So I'm just putting in some basic tones that are actually in these buildings, and we'll go from there. See how that looks. And just let the painting kind of tell me what to do. I'm just kind of like a machine here painting a painting. And that's why I thought it'd be kind of cool if people gave suggestions, because it doesn't always have to be about me. I do have the ability to paint almost anything. I haven't been stumped yet.
oh, my actress friend Amanda said that she would love to see you, not on this obviously, but at some point see you paint something that's out of your wheelhouse, like a Pokemon character, and I was gonna say to her, although I don't think she's still watching, I was gonna say to her, he absolutely does all that commercial stuff whenever he does model homes or like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
he literally can paint whatever. What would be out of your wheelhouse?
I really don't have anything. Just something that would be real mechanical would not interest me.
Mechanical. What does that mean?
Something where there's a lot of numbers involved. That's not going to work.
He can't paint math on a chalkboard. If you ask him to do a chalkboard
Something real restrictive,
mural,
like in the 70s we used to paint airbrush a lot. And 80s it really caught on, but 70s and 80s we had to use the airbrush. And it took too much time to load the airbrush and make sure the power was blowing and
anything with a
too
process. He
mechanical.
likes to just pour it, put it, slap it.
Yeah, you got to get into this stuff. You can't just, you're trying to feel, that's what the deal is with abstract painting. A lot of people don't get this and they discount abstract painting. But abstract painting has stripped away all the, hey, I recognize this because that's a building in Dallas and I love that building. With abstract, you lose that so people can get lost in it and they bring their own message to it. This, I'm actually being pretty specific about it. I'm just saying, I think that's cool, but why not combo it somehow? You know, put both of them together. So the colors, if we look at it abstractly and we just enjoy laying color on color, I can make this whole thing abstract once you walk up to it and realize these are big fat brush strokes, and you can actually see them when you walk up to the painting, and they have an abstract quality. Trying to accomplish two things at once: realism and abstract when you get close to it. Just something you do.
Just something you do.
Keep it interesting. So if somebody had this in their house, people get that first impression when they see it, but then when they get closer, can you zoom in at all, Kim?
Yeah.
Zoom in on that building I just painted, because it's got some cool stuff to it going on there.
And it's not really zooming in. It's a digital zoom, so the quality doesn't improve at all, but you can point at it.
But anyway, you can kind of see where it's a little different here by that cross, and it just has a nice flow. So now I'll be able to see where I think it looks like the sun is hitting that building. Okay. Now I'm moving on to the next building, which is another shade of brown. It's sneaking. These buildings have names, but I don't know what they are. So.
How does Brad Smith choose his art palette?
The palette is every color available, except for today I don't have the right turquoise. But mostly it's like I could mix any color at all.
That's the thing. So long as he has like all the primaries, he can make pretty much whatever you want.
Yeah.
So that he just needs a stock of the reds and the blues and the yellows and all that in the blacks and whites and stuff. So that he can basically make. He doesn't have to go to the store every time he wants it, like azure, whatever, like a crimson yellow. He just makes it.
But it is convenient. There are great craft paints at Walmart and stuff you can buy if you're out there wanting to buy.
None of that works for something this size, of course, unless you want to spend $20,000 on craft paint. But
that would make sense. But so I can just I'm buying quarts of the generic color and then mixing it down into these small tubs. My wife and I used to drink a lot of coffee,
so much coffee.
A lot of these empty creamer things, and recycling. Nothing wrong with recycling. So you tear the label off, and when all these things are sitting next to each other in the back of your van while you're painting, you just look for the color in the bottle and you grab it, and there's no time wasting the lids.
It's already like specifically
bam.
pour design,
And then you throw that in there. It's really a fun process.
You wouldn't imagine. I always I don't drink coffee, but you wouldn't imagine, even as a non-coffee drinker, I thought it was just me, but he especially drinks so much coffee. All day long I get new hazelnut creamers, and I'm like, Brad, you gotta step outside of hazelnut. He's like, no, I like what I like.
I'm not that guy. I'm willing to try anything.
Hey, you go do what I tell you, boy. And then he gets his like BB gun out and he starts shooting at me to leave the house. He's like, you dance for me, boy. Pew, pew, pew.
That's not true at all.
This is my father. If you can tell, he's a prospector. Is there a map of places where Brad's murals are located? That would be a really cool idea. We don't pay enough attention about that.
No, I have that idea already, but I don't know how to do it yet. My web guys said they can do that, so we're going to get that done.
Oh, Stephen Ames, my Austin singer-songwriter guy, who I've done some of my favorite music videos with, visually. Like, I've gotten some of my favorite shots with. He says, Cameron, great show. I dig Brad Smith art.
Oh, great. Hey, tell him about our music segment that Andrew has started. Okay.
Yeah, I'll show one of his music videos if I...
Okay, yeah.
I'll have to get the other hard drive out, but I can do that. But anyway...
Yeah,
Steven, if you have a song coming up that you're writing during all this, we're gonna do like a little music segment called Corona Canvas Creative Corner.
Something like that.
Something like that. I don't
Jack
know.
Ray needs to come up with a new title.
Yeah, we need our naming guy, Jack Ray. Anyway, where we'll showcase the art that we're all making during this this kind of crisis, and that'll be kind of fun.
Yeah, if you got a song that would fit, come over here and play it, or
Well, he's
send
in
it to
Austin.
us.
Well, I mean, you can drive
he
up from
comes
Austin
through
if you
here,
want to. I
surely.
don't know. Well, we're looking for some musicians. He says he's in.
All right, come on up.
But
I'll
yeah,
be
we're
here
looking
till
for some.
midnight.
Well, not today.
Oh, okay.
I mean, unless you want to come up today, but make sure you wash your hands. But yeah, in the future, for the next episode next week, we'll be.
We needed some talent.
We need some talent, so if you're a musician, you're welcome to come up and hang out with us, and you can play a little song on the guitar.
He can do whatever he wants.
Do whatever you want, man. But yeah, no, we'll definitely. I'll probably show one of your music videos during the break or whenever I get that loaded up, just for the audience's entertainment. But if you're making anything, if anybody out there is making anything, if you're a kid, if you're an adult, if you're whatever age I am, we'll showcase what you're making.
Yeah, let's make it a thing. I don't have to be the only one working here. Y'all get to work. Seriously.
I think that was a dig at me, but
Oh no, it wasn't. I mean, I'm talking about the people at home watching.
yeah, get to work, people
No, I'm
suffering
kidding.
in this epidemic.
Create something.
Come on.
Come on, people.
Quit being lazy. Stop shoving at each other over in the stores and shove some paint
Yes.
onto a canvas.
That's right. You don't even have to use canvas. Use a piece of wood that's in the garage, put some primer on it, and then go to town and make something.
Honestly, that's one of my favorite things that he does is finding different materials, especially wood, because there's always such great texture on it. And a lot of times he has to, like, if there's a certain knot in the middle of someone's face, he has to figure out how to paint around it or include it in the painting.
That's kind of fun to do.
Like, he'll do that whenever he does a mural that has, like, windows or a door in the way. Like, a lot of times he'll be like, all right, well, there's a window in the way, and I can't paint on the window, so what if there's a barn there, or, like, an old colonial house that happens to have that window, and he'll include it as part of the mural.
Yeah, so that's kind of fun.
That's kind of fun. Or, like, electrical outlets, he has to paint. He
Yeah, a
usually just
lot of
paints on
times,
those, but-
man, you got to work with the building. Or you get to work with the building. I consider it an opportunity to find a solution to something, you know?
Brad Smith, what do you, at this point in your career, this is not a question, this is a Cam question. What do you consider, how do you challenge yourself?
Challenge?
Yeah, either creatively, artistically, or
I,
content-wise, or, you know.
Try to paint a whole painting on a live stream.
This is, I guess that's true, this is a new,
This is, I mean,
This
what
is
else
new.
am I doing?
yeah.
I live right next door, so I'm actually 15 steps from here. So I can take a break if we just keep the at Facebook. I think that's free. They might charge me. I don't know.
No, they don't.
But we just keep it running until the painting's done. You can tune in, tune out. I'll probably be here. I'm going to be here anyway. Camera's just running the TV thing. If we had musicians coming by, that'd be a lot cooler, especially as it gets dark. Now, one thing I will say is that when the sun sets, that's going to be cool. My painting will look darker. Who knows what'll happen?
Who knows? Maybe the pizza guy will show up.
Pizza guy, that'd be nice. So, I hope somebody can kind of see what I'm doing here.
Yeah. No, it's looking good.
Okay, right here, where my head is at. How do you do this, man? I don't know how these weather guys. Oh, here you go. Right here.
Where's your beating stick? You can use the beating
No.
stick.
Right here is a very prominent building over in Dallas. I've now drawn the side where the light is hitting it. And this is not a finished product. This is just a rough block in, where I can kind of feel some tones out. And right over here, I'm about to paint a shadow. Bam. Bam. Right down there. I've taken my paint here, and you see this, and I keep adding blue. Now to make that shadow, I'm going to add some dark gray. I don't want to go all the way black yet, because I want to save that for special effects shadowing. So I'm going to go kind of dark gray turquoise. Get a new palette.
In terms of recycling, in the same way that he uses coffee cups, he does not use traditional palettes, he uses these.
Yeah, you know, you get some to-go food and they give you one of these things, and it's like, man, I could put 100 colors in there and it'd hold it pretty well. And look how huge this is. I can paint a lot of stuff in there, and I can keep.
He can keep dripping onto my new
Oh,
clothes.
sorry, people.
He didn't actually hit me, luckily, and it's blue, and I wear a lot of blue anyway. But I'm not the splatter fashion type.
Okay,
He is.
that's true. I won't do that again. So here's the side.
Hey, Spencer's here. Hello,
Spencer,
Spencer.
my man. All right. Now Spencer has hung out at the studio with me with his guitar. So he's just that kind of guy.
He gets it.
Yeah, he totally gets it. And Spencer is gonna definitely write a song because he just does that.
Spencer, you gonna buy us a pizza? Order us a pizza?
No.
No?
Come on, man. Spencer needs to write us a song.
Write us a song, and we'll play it during the Corona Canvas Creative Corner section. I think that's a good name. Sorry, Jack. I'm using my executive power to use call that segment. But if anyone wants to work on a logo, feel free.
Are you using hand sanitizer for this?
I'm using hand sanitizer.
For what though? Where did you get?
Where did I get the Corona?
Yeah. Where did you get hung up?
I
on?
didn't, but if it's a good punchline, it's like whenever someone on talk show takes a sip of their drink for the joke to land.
Oh, okay. I see. Spit take is what it's called.
No, that's not what that's called. I think spit takes are beneath me. That's why you'll never see one in one of my films.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Amanda Fedrick says, the sky is looking great.
Oh, thank you. This is just a block-in, folks.
It's all just a block in. The paint is still up on there, so when he pulls it, the edges will pop. That's one of my favorite parts.
Oh no, I took that tape.
Did you take the tape
already,
off?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
That'll happen on the next.
the edges
tape.
need to pop a little more.
They will. They will.
Oh yeah, that's right, because it was too wet. It wasn't dry enough.
Yeah, it's a block-in.
Oh yeah, Emma Sailors says, posts up for Brad Smith art merch. Check out Thread Tats and PM Emma to order. So the link is officially live to order some Brad Smith art
That's
merch.
awesome. That's awesome.
That's killer, Emma. Thank you for doing that. You've probably been
I'm gonna
scurrying
paint a
around in the
logo-
background.
Logo also on the wall.
We're gonna paint the logo over there. Here in a little bit once we get the buildings block done after a break. Spencer Williams says, we need a project where Brad drips paint on Cameron a la Jackson Pollock. That's what my girlfriends say as well. So we're not going to do that. But no, yeah, sponsored by Thread Tats. Go, Emma, if you want to post the link to where people could buy that in the chat, please do, and we'll share it on the Brad Smith art page as well. But thank you for doing that. If you want to buy some merch, some of his work shirts, or some of his splatter shirts, which are, I think, even cooler, because they're, one, enormous, and there's a lot of color, and they're from his actual work. And they're all clean. We washed them as well. So, they don't look clean, but they are. Oh, nice. Cheryl Allen is replying to Emma, says she was just there checking it out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so feel free to go grab some of those. We can have like a Brad Smith art army, a street team.
Street team while nobody's on the street.
Yeah, the abandoned street team. We can go viral during this. No, we shouldn't make light of that.
No, man. There's a serious virus going around. We did have one Burleson case.
Yeah, Ken Shedder didn't announce it, but he did talk about it. It has hit Burleson, but if infection rates go as they expect it, we're probably all going to end up knowing someone that gets it. So, it's not uncommon. Don't freak out. We just gotta be vigilant. Make sure we take care of everyone.
And keep painting.
And keep painting. Oh, Emma's working on the link now. Perfect.
Oh, nice, Emma.
Emma, thank you for doing so much work. That's great.
Emma's awesome. She's an entrepreneur like you've never seen before.
Like you ain't never seen.
She showed up a month ago with a bunch of shirts that we had just talked about randomly, and she took charge and made
Initiative.
Initiative. That's it. So now what I'm doing here is I'm just adding a little color because I want the sun to look like it's reflecting off of this building.
Oh, Cheryl's gonna order a hat.
Oh,
She's
nice.
like, shipped to Michigan, she'll pay extra.
Oh, she knows Emma's gonna handle all of it.
Emma's got you, Cheryl.
Cheryl Allen.
That's great. Look at that, we got merch going.
Oh yeah, hey.
That's the first Brad
sale.
Smith art merch ever, other than like prints. But
Yeah.
like actual like wardrobe types of
Artwear,
merch.
we're calling
Artwear. That's cool.
That's awesome. Thank you for purchasing a hat. I don't even have a hat yet.
No, we need to get him a hat. Of course, it's not. We're indoors, so it's not really.
Yeah, I don't really need a hat right now, but I might want to wear one out in the pasture.
Oh, they're setting it up. Email your shipping address and all that. PM your email, shipping address. Look at that.
Nice.
Look at that. How cool. They'll be coming from Houston. Handmade by some professionals.
Yes.
Emma's one of the professionals.
Bringing it home to America. I'm here and support local manufacturing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying to y'all.
She'll disinfect it before she sends it.
Definitely disinfected. But Cheryl and I have DNA that is similar because she's my cousin. So she's cool.
That has something to do with anything.
No, I'm saying my DNA is not gonna hurt her.
Oh, Karen's looking at it. She says she loves how the shirts have paint on them. Yeah, for years and years and years, people have looked at his T-shirts and be like, you should sell that in the store.
They're not really that.
They're not as
hillbilly,
yokel as
yeah.
that, but so we decided, yeah, why not? They are cool looking.
My friend Dave Denzel came down one time from Chicago and
I'm gonna be on this side of the screen.
loved the shirt.
Jennifer Qualls is messaging Emma for a shirt.
All right, she's the her dad was Bert Qualls from the Bert Shirts. Hello.
Bert shirt to Brad shirt.
Excellent.
But Karen's looking at it. She says she loves it. Yeah. Emma suggests a straw hat with the Brad Smith logo.
Now, it is funny that she says that because when I'm painting murals, I do wear a straw hat in summer to block the shoulders and everything.
It's true. It's practical.
It
This is my
makes
bad
total
side.
sense, doesn't it?
We need to turn the light on here. Go ahead and do that.
Oh, you're going dark?
A little bit on one side. Ah, that's better. It's gonna get chilly soon. We're gonna have to close that door.
Oh man, you got to show the sunset on the next.
No, I
break.
know. Once the sun's
Once I
down,
get to the end here.
it's gonna get down to 45 degrees tonight. This is totally my bad side. Yikes.
Your bad side?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, this is the side that does all the drugs.
Oh, like what?
Dr. Pepper.
It is pretty harsh.
Yeah. Emma, don't worry. Emma's internet is slow, probably because everybody in the world is on the internet right now, and she lives in Houston, so there's even more.
Yeah.
So she's working on it though. She's got y'all covered. We weren't expecting such an upsurge in the orders all of a sudden, but we keep it coming. Keep it coming, y'all.
We're gonna have musical guests. I put the hit in on Ken to call Kelly Clarkson. Did you get that?
Yeah. I think he thought that was a joke. You were half joking.
I was half joking. If the Mirror Burleson can't call her,
If you
who
can call Kelly Clarkson, you know, no, but really, call her, please.
No, but really, that's not why we had you on the show.
We need the views.
We don't need the views.
Chrissy says we need one with Bert on it for sale, so maybe like Burt on one side and then Miller,
Yeah,
or I mean not Miller, Brad Smith art.
Yeah,
on the
I
other
think
side.
we should just print them with Bert on there, so they're still Bert shirts.
It'd be funny.
I mean, do I really need to have Brad on there? I mean,
Well, yeah.
with my logo, that's cool. But it'd be cool if the name tag all said Bert, wouldn't it? That'd be a tribute to Bert. And Bert was one of the coolest people that taught me about how important hard work is.
He was very much like exactly what you want from a Texas guy. Like just very
Exactly.
soft spoken,
Oh,
very
man.
mild, or not mild manner, but he was, but very kind of the he didn't speak much, but the things that he said were like
Powerful.
powerful.
Man.
And a sweetheart, absolute sweetheart, very kind and considerate. And
Oh, yeah. You know, I had a problem with, I always have this problem with the a celebrity athlete retires and they throw a big party and everybody's weeping and everything. I'm like, man, the dude just got paid $50 million, but here was Bert working his butt off, raised 3 intelligent young women, and nobody, I mean, we were all weeping, but where's the parade for him, you know? What about these guys that go to work every day, feed their family, their wife has a good life, the whole thing is the way it's supposed to be. You know, kind of if you were living in Mayberry or something, but you know, I celebrate those kind of people, and I wish everybody else did too.
not only that,
Is
there's
preaching?
so many
Okay,
people
great.
in Texas that think the Texas idea, and in the South generally, and probably just all over, but the Texas, especially the cowboy idea is you gotta have a big truck and be really loud and stomp really big and wear cowboy boots, whatever. But that's not, you know, the traditional cowboy is a very much like Bert was, like the very inquisitive and soft
And listen to you when
and
you
listen
talk.
to you, and
You
yeah.
actually listen to what you were saying and respond accordingly,
Mm-hmm.
instead of cutting you off and reading a cell phone. Just saying.
What were you saying?
Nothing. He knew how to listen. That's what was cool about him, man. He'd actually listen to what you were telling him.
Except now I am actually checking my phone.
I know. That's all you have to do with you people. And by you people, I mean you millennials or whatever. you are.
Millennials.
I thought you were Gen X. No?
How old do you think I
I
am?
don't know what these distinctions are. What is it? Millennial?
You're closer to Gen X than I am.
Oh, really?
You might actually be Gen X.
No, man. I'm on the friggin'.
You're not a boomer.
No, I'm the other.
It
I'm
goes
the baby boomer.
No,
yeah.
it goes
I
Gen.
was born in '62. That's like the last year. Or '63 was the last year.
I
of
think,
baby
but I
boomer.
think the traditional, the internet boomer are people. Well, I guess yeah, maybe. I think they're one generation above you. But then that would be your mom, and that's no. She's.
No, man.
Yeah, I guess you're a boomer.
All right, I'm a boomer.
That's nothing to be proud of.
Yeah, it is, man.
Not in 2020. It's not.
Hey, we stopped the Vietnam War, my friend.
Yeah,
Don't
we're not
forget
gonna get
about
into
it.
the
We
Vietnam
stopped
War.
The Vietnam War.
You were a hippie. You hush about the Vietnam. You were a child during the Vietnam War.
Anti-war child. Hello.
Whatever.
We lived at Fort Hood in Killeen.
Yeah, it sounds like anti-war. Living at Fort Hood.
Well, I mean, you know, at the time the Vietnam War was going on, everybody from the town was there to go to war, so it was a very depressing place. What can I tell you?
Nancy, good to see you.
Nancy, Grandma Nancy.
Grandma Nancy. Hey, you know what we should do? We should have the Corona Canvas wine tasting segment. We can
Hosted
have
by the sommelier.
have
Ray
hosted
Ray.
by a real sommelier come out.
Definitely.
Have
Have a
some
wine
drinks.
sommelier thing. That's a great idea, Cam. Ask Ray Rainey if he'll do that for us.
Or do it via Skype or something.
If he's afraid of us. Yeah, he might not be leaving the house. I'm not sure how they're doing. Ask her if she's leaving the house.
Luckily, out here in the country, we don't interact with anybody, so we're pretty safe for now. So, and
The mayor was here.
The mayor was here. He's been the only
He seemed
person.
pretty healthy.
He's been the only person over here since this whole thing started.
I know. I didn't touch him though.
No, none of us touched. We touched our
I
elbows.
know that was kind of weird.
It was sweet.
Yeah, I guess it was.
It was romantic.
Weird. Yeah, it was. Touching elbows. That's literally rubbing elbows with the mayor.
Chrissy says 1962 is Gen X. I think that's when it's...
No
that's
way.
The
That's
very upper end of Gen X.
no way.
Yeah, no, your formative years
No
were
way.
the 80s.
You guys are taking power away from me. I'm in the baby boomers.
Chrissy, if you could fact check that
Jimi
for me.
Hendrix.
What about Hendrix?
That's my people.
You didn't
Led
know, Jimmy.
Zeppelin. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Baby boomer.
don't. That's nothing to be proud of.
No, it is. We ended the Vietnam War. I'll go back to that. And I remember it. I got kicked out of school for having too long of hair, if you can believe that.
By the boomers.
No, by the... I don't know who those guys were. By the gym teachers of America.
They were the, what is it,
The squares, the flat tops. They had the flat top haircuts. They were like, this is a military town. They're like, what? Why do you have long hair?
1961 to 1981 is Gen X. Thank you, Chrissy. Thank you.
Y'all can't go changing things.
What do you mean? That's what it is.
No way.
Yeah, 61 to 81. And then 81 to probably 2001 is
Well, wait, I
is
think
mine.
this might be a good thing if you think about it.
What might be a good thing that you're Gen X?
Yeah, instead of baby boomers who are getting quarantined everywhere, maybe
All
I
right,
can go to town now.
Scotty fact check it, and Jennifer Qualls says it's true, and then she posted a link to. See, this is what people need to do whenever they're having town halls with politicians. They just need to be like, "Well, here's what the actual truth is."
Yeah, I'm representing. Okay, I don't have to represent the baby boomers anymore.
No, you don't have to feel
Alright,
guilty whenever they're
excellent.
yelling at the children.
Tell Spotify then, would you?
Tell Spotify, stop playing James Taylor. And,
Please quit sending me
Jackson
James Taylor
Brown.
songs. No, keep sending me Jackson Brown.
no, Jackson Brown. Well,
I like him. Come on.
he's
man.
very boomery.
Santana, I love those guys. Keep sending those guys, but throw in.
You
some
listened to the
Beastie-
Pixies the other day. That was
Beastie
cool.
Boys, come on, man. Who knew they could actually sing?
The Beastie Boys. Anybody that likes the Beastie Boys knew that.
I must be a Gen Xer because I did like it.
Yeah. You like Nirvana?
Of course, I love Nirvana.
Love
That's
Radiohead?
right in my wheelhouse. Come on.
He's Gen X.
Oh man.
By 1
Pearl
year.
Jam. I guess my whole list is Pearl Jam and all those dudes. Rolling Stones. Come on. That's a boomer. I'm a boomer for sure.
You just you don't know how much Pearl Jam you listen to. It's startling.
Come on, man. It comes on Spotify. I didn't make the algorithm.
You can skip it if you want.
They look at my age. They put Pearl Jam on.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I'm
saying. That's how they
classic
know
Gen
you're
X.
a Gen X. Classic Gen X.
Oh, your mama would not have liked this.
How many studs did you wear on your jackets in the 80s?
Studs?
No.
What do you mean?
That was very Gen X, kind of like, oh, I'm edgy.
No, studs. No. I was this guy in.
No, he was an artist. He was more of the David Byrne type of.
Yeah, because we had to. I was in art school in Chicago, and what we had then. I'm just taking a break while that dries. Move your
Yeah,
head.
he's
Let's
done
do
with the building
the
except for those middle ones.
preliminary ones.
Yeah, look at that. Anyway,
Anyway,
art school.
Art school. This is when the girls would paint their face white and do really black eyes. The eyeliner was black. This was, and then Madonna showed up, so everybody started wearing their underwear on the outside of their clothes. But the dudes were sort of wearing this stuff called willy wear. I mean, the hipsters, you know, the cool guys. This was before hipster was a bad thing. So, but if you were fashion conscious and living in the city going to art school, you wore like these big shoulder 1940s looking stuff, and that was cool, called willy wear. And then they came out with this TV show called
Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Vice.
Oh, Miami Vice. Oof.
That was the 80s.
That was rough.
Miami Vice.
Doing this to your.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And
To suit
oh,
jackets.
it ruined the whole thing.
I mean, honestly, some of it's not too bad. It's just the rolling up the sleeves of the jackets. That is rough.
That was rough, man. We didn't really do that, but you know, when you're painting, it's nice to throw a jacket on because you can cover up your paint. You go down to eat, nobody treats you like you're homeless. You have a jacket. It's kind of cool. And so, anyway, that was just a cool fashion thing.
and I don't know why I brought that up.
And you're talking about the good old days.
Oh, okay.
See,
This
you're
is a
Gen X.
segment.
You're Gen X.
I'm
You're
Gen
talking
X.
about the 80s.
Yeah, that was the 80s, wasn't it? Yeah.
My Sharona was playing on the radio.
My
you know?
Sharona, that's true, that's true.
Talking Heads.
It was a bad decade, really. I did like the Talking Heads. But, what are we talking about now? Is it almost time for break? Because
Yeah, it's
what we're
5
gonna
minutes
do
from break.
is I'm going to take a break for a minute, let that paint dry. I don't know if this is interesting to anybody, but I'm going to put some buildings here. Let me show you.
I'm gonna start getting the narrative going. Okay, this is just a block in. I'm gonna put some buildings in here that have content. The to go, vote to go, the food to go. It's gonna be the to go thing because I'm thinking that since the highways are empty, why not make the highways, put some little kiosks up against the highway. You pull up, you get your food, you lay your vote down. Just thinking out of the box.
Vote to go.
Vote to go.
I love that.
That was actually the mayor of Burleson's idea.
That
I
was
wanna
Ken
thank him
Cheddar.
for coming in. He is a smart dude. So I'm gonna drink some coffee for 5 minutes, and he's gonna put the shot on some other videos. Or what are you gonna do, Ken?
Hell yeah, I'll play one of the video. We'll do pay attention, this is important.
Okay, this is a cool video he made about the shipping and receiving near South Side from about 5 years ago. Our friend Eddie Vanston over there had a building, and Cam came with me when I met Eddie and discussed the concept. And it's about 10 minutes long, or something.
It's I don't know. We'll do a few things.
But
We're
if
gonna
you can
take a
hang
break.
with this comeback, I'm going to finish this painting tonight, or get pretty close.
Keep talking a little bit. I gotta find it.
All right. I'm making pretty good progress. Normally I wouldn't be talking this much, and I'd be making more progress. But sometimes it's good to slow down and just talk to your son and hang loose. No pressure here. I'm not trying to put pressure on myself or
Hey
anybody.
guys, this episode is an edited down version of a scene from our feature film, which is a real fun movie. You should go rent it.
Well, you don't want to watch that one. That one's sad.
No, it's not sad.
Well, there's a sad part in it.
This is the episode version of that.
Oh, okay. So this one's called
Pay attention, this is
Pay
important.
Attention, This is Important, which is the name of the mural that I'm still working on down at Shipping and Receiving. It's now been 5 or 6 years since I started it
Here
when
we
Cameron
go.
filmed this. And it's cool. And now there's new buildings everywhere. You won't even recognize the neighborhood from this era because now there's giant. The Bowery has another client of mine who I did a fantastic mural in their gymnasium. Anyway, they moved in. It's right by Doggy Diggs, right across the street from Doggy Diggs down in Fort Worth, who I'm going to paint their logo later during one of my breaks from painting the mural. When the mural gets too wet, I'm going to take a break and paint some logos.
So this is about 12 minutes long. We might take about a 15-minute break or so, just to regain our, and I might add some more files and stuff. But this is pay attention. This is important. And let me mute my microphones. All right, and then the show will start.
Question, maybe, probably not.
First, I got to say this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm normally very humble, so it's a little awkward to sit here and talk to the camera. But since you're my son, I can sit here and tell you these stories, and it doesn't feel so awkward. So that's all I wanted to say. Now I remember my dad used to be in here. People loved him. He was real cool. Never told us to shut up or anything. Never spanked us one time. Hey, do you mind? Get out. Get out. I'm trying to draw here. Jesus.
an event that we were having, you're looking to have some type of showdown. In an area that you've got maybe 3,000 to 5,000 square feet of space, we are hosting an art show here in the neighborhood, which essentially encompasses all of the near South Side. So everything down on Magnolia, everything at Park Place, down in South Main Village. It's called Art Chicago. It'll be October 12th. It's our 10th year, or 20th event.
It's time because our biggest concern is that artists are rarely appreciated in their own time, and we didn't want to wait until after Brad passed on before we had a retrospective of his work.
This is Brad Smith, Rodney Clemmer. How are you doing?
My career, you want me to go all the way through this? Quickly? Okay. When I was a little kid, my dad owned games and carnivals. As we were growing up, we thought we were in show business. That's what my mom told us to tell our teachers, because we changed schools all the time. My brother and I used to just sit and draw, and we'd watch, they used to have great paintings at the carnival on all the front of these rides, and all these different booths, the mirrored room and the bearded lady. They all had great artwork, so we were always intrigued by that. So we would get really inspired, and we'd sit and we'd go from town to town and we'd draw whatever we'd see out the window. It just came real natural to us. I think most kids are in this imaginary world anyway, so it worked out perfectly. So that's where the career started. I remember it as a career because at that point everybody was like, man, you're good at this. You should be an artist. So I'm like, okay, I'm 5 years old. I'm like, I'm an artist. Okay. So from that point on, I was like, all right, that's my job. Good. I had something to do. So I started practicing the whole time. And then anything that came up that related to art, people would say, I need a drawing of my dog, or I need a picture. My dad's opening a restaurant. Could you do something here? So my whole life, I never really had to get a job. I was able to just do drawings. I met my wife here in Fort Worth when I was visiting my dad, and it's like the door of the world opened up, and I'm like, I've got to stay here. This is perfect. And I started getting a lot of work. And when I first came to Texas, they didn't really know what murals were. There was a guy named Dan Hitchcock over in Dallas and Style Reed out here in Fort Worth, and those were the only two mural artists around. People had no idea what it was all about or how it could apply and what it could do for your business or clean up your building or just be cool in your house. I guess that's how I've made my living in the past. At this age, I'm trying to move it all over as much as I can to doing more just fine art, but if it sounds fun, I'm willing to do it.
You dash, you dance, you hop across the coals of burnt out circumstance, shuffle off the shackles of a dead romance. I think that you may never have a chance.
It's also a real bitch. It's a pain in the ass. People don't pay you. They make every excuse why your check didn't get mailed. They see that you enjoy this. They perceive you as a really successful artist. They're just, they try every capitalistic trick in the book. It's in their nature. It's part of America. They try to beat you down. As soon as, they try to get you to throw everything they can get in on you in the painting, and try to lowball you at the same time. So it's frustrating like in any business. It's still a business. Artists need to realize that.
And then these other ones just keep clicking off. This is other. Now it'd be cool if somebody was to say, man, this stuff is incredible, you're the greatest artist ever. You know, in your mind while you're painting, you're thinking someday they're gonna say this. And then nobody ever says anything. They tell you they appreciate it, and you're like, okay, that's cool, just trying to work. So it's kind of fun having a nice big space like this.
Yeah!
Well, as you can tell, I'm a very serious person. And a lot of people do pay attention to you and think you're great because this is so different and they wish they could make a living like this. But really, I'm just a working man. My special skill happens to be drawing and making paintings. So I can't take myself that seriously. Mike did all of this.
It's just real fun for the community because it was just a boring, plain building, and now I like seeing stuff come to life.
Well, I think, you know, as long as you think of it, I don't care if it's commercial or not, it's going to affect people and make them feel good when they drive down the highway and see it.
So there's value in, even if it's not high concept art, if it's more commercial, there's still value in it.
Well, yeah, there's no, what is high concept art if nobody gets it? I think there's almost a snobbery in higher education and art collectors generally. They're like, oh, well, I get it and you don't. And even to, you know, I go to the museums and I feel so uncomfortable there. A museum should not be a place where an artist feels uncomfortable. It feels like a morgue, like they're gonna pull Andy Warhol out of the drawer, you know? But I mean, I don't know why these spaces aren't more comfortable. They're like, oh, you can't come in here and talk to me about your ideas. You need an appointment. You've got to go 6 months to the Community Arts Center. Then someone's got to recognize you. You can't just walk in here and give us an idea to see if you can put all this art up in our museum. I mean, are you kidding me? I'm like, well, listen, I've got this idea. What about us living artists? You got all these dead artists in here from New York, California. I know you're trying to make a collection. Somebody's giving you a bunch of money. But what about what's happening now? What about some shit that nobody knows about, that hasn't been developed, that everybody, I mean, it's like, do we need another Impressionist show? I mean, I love Impressionism, I use it in every painting, but I don't need another art show. To me, you go like over there and you're like, oh yeah, I saw this one on a friggin' Hallmark card. Oh, I saw this one on a friggin' ad for Chili's. I mean, I don't know, it degrades it. So, here, if you know about art history, you're a mural artist that uses techniques that were developed 1,000 years ago. You're trying to think, okay, how can I combine all that shit together in one statement? And so I'm just sitting here painting, coming up with ideas, and hopefully all that stuff just piles on me and it comes out in the painting. That's all I think about. What makes it worth it? I don't know if it's an option at this point. I think it's worth it. I don't know. It's not that really rewarding. There's no big awards. There's no trophies. There's no Justin Bieber type of bodyguards around. It's like ridiculous. It's a difficult, it's really hard. And you have to bust your ass. So I guess the only reward is knowing that I've been able to raise you as my son into a cool artistic person who looks at life and tries to just look at the world the way I do artistically. And now you've got an art career making films. I just think that's really cool. That's been mine and your mom's most proud moment, is that we get to do this. It's cool. Is that good enough?
Okay.
He's gonna make pseudo-crime, which is
stay up late, miss the sun. Sometimes I sleep when there's things to be done. My time flies by when I need it the most. With nothing to do, it always passes so slow. I guess I'm caught in some kind of maze. I feel so close, but I'm far away, far away. I live next to Uptown, but I'm not there. I worry about what they think, I wish I didn't care. Don't you know I love to dance, but I've been guilty of never taking a chance. Guess I'm caught in some kind of maze. I feel so close, but I'm far away, far away. The truth will set me free, this I know. Then I can take myself, carry on. I wanna be loved, and I wanna be loved. I've given my heart up couple of times, 1,000 rounds I've looked, but I never ever find. I've been told, let it all go, but I hold tight, I think I have control. Guess I'm caught in some kind of maze. So close, but I'm far away, yeah. Guess I'm caught in some kind of maze. I feel so close, but I'm far away, far away. Flying way up in the sky. Well, now I'm falling, feel like I'm crashing. Clipped wings, a bird in disguise. Got my feathers ruffled, oh, my sound is muffled. I got the microphone blues, hey. I've been singing, I've been got the microphone blues, microphone blues. They snuck in my mouth, and now they're in my shoes. And no matter what I do, can't seem to lose. Microphone blues, microphone blues. Please go away, you ain't welcome to stay. Microphone blues. I see colors black and white. It's a vicious battle I try to fight. I am shame when truth's brought to light. I really turn my wrongs to rights. I see lines divided deep, cuts and wounds while people weep. Broken homes and broken bones. Words they break, my heart moans. What I see you must see too. A world of anger with muddy truths. And hidden sins, they come to life and eat us all, they don't think twice. I see an earth that shakes its mane. It cracks and roars its growing pains. I'd like to help, but I help myself. Safe in the arms of worldly wealth.